kind, benevolent ruler decided that he had had enough of the evil being around. And he's like nothing can exist in my kingdom that is not love. And so slowly all of the evil got like coagulated into a big giant blob as it was making its way out of the kingdom by the power of the Kree. But then some little jackass kid saw the big blob of evil and was like, I'll love you. And so all of that evil was going to go into the child. And everybody thought that would be a terrible idea to have it all concentrated into one kid. So they decided that they'd all love it a little.
In that sense, that's where I see this little corner coming to meet this moment.
Oh, that's a very... I hadn't thought about that.
Because...
So, just let me make sure I make... sorry for interrupting. I just want to get it. Instead of the we being... It's like, no, this little corner is a nexus point of many different Christian groups and non-Christian groups. And then nexus point is perhaps the place we should look for as the thing that will rise to the response. Is that what I'm hearing you say? That's really good, Paul.
And that's what I hear when you say, this is how this little corner should steal the culture.
Howdy, Embody. Afriel here. We hope you're feeling virtually not alone this morning, afternoon, evening. Today I'm going to be just talking and chatting with folks, but before we get into the gaming couch and let people come and chat, because it's going to be a boss rush, so it's not really going to be too much bandwidth for me mentally, we have to rejoice, because we got to get some choir practice in before Midwestery comes around. So... if you want to join in with me at home, feel free. Rejoice, rejoice, God's ears are stitches. Oh, rejoice, his eyes are big X's. Oh, rejoice, his arms are burning witches. Oh, rejoice, his hands perform hexes. Rejoice despite the fact this world will hurt you. And rejoice despite the fact this world will kill you. And rejoice despite the fact this world will tear you to shreds. Rejoice because you're trying your best. And rejoice, the bed you sleep in is burning. Oh, rejoice, the sky's fucking falling. Oh, rejoice, the world we know is turning. Oh, rejoice, your father's been calling. Rejoice, although this world will devastate you. And rejoice, although this world will penetrate you. And rejoice, although Rejoice, although you will not survive. Rejoice, you'll never make it out alive. Actual corn? Or troll corn? I'm gonna keep going. Wow. Wow, Grizz. Wow. Anyway. Rejoice, your hair, it smells like burning hair. Oh, rejoice, your nails all got chewed off. Oh, rejoice, and holy fuck, you're bleeding there. Oh, rejoice, you burned your whole beard off. Rejoice despite the fact this world will hurt you. And rejoice despite the fact this world will kill you. And rejoice despite the fact this world will tear you to shreds. Rejoice because you're trying your best. And with that, I'll hop into the gaming couch and we'll get going. And if folks want to come on, I'll try and clodge something together about dreams, but I don't have anything super well prepared. So we are in the gaming couch. Or on the gaming couch. In would be a different thing. And actually, let me just also get my roadmap up here. So, in order to get to the next part that we want to get to, we have to... Well, Chris, do you watch Grizz's streams? Because he plays that one pretty regularly, but it is just the last, like, a little bit of the last or second to last chorus, then the last verse, then the last chorus. So. With me probably singing louder than I should, because I think a lot of other people didn't actually know the tune at the campfire, so. Wait, I thought I had... Oh, I don't have the map of the area. That's what it is. So anyway, we have to go and... Well, there's some question about whether you are destroying the dreams, or just making them, or freeing them and making them able to go on to the next life. But that's what we have to do. We have to awaken our dream nail by harvesting dreams from dead bugs until we're able to enter the White Palace, because that's going to be the next step for us to actually get like a full completion of this. And where do we want to go first? Because we got Marmu already. We want to go to the dream. Hang on. Let's actually pull up the map. We want to go up to the resting grounds, and I think Spirit's Glade's probably going to be a good starting point. So we can just go up, hopefully, and not get blocked by the elevator. Let's see. Nope. The elevator blocks the way. That's okay. We can just follow the bottom. Whee! Oh. Pfft. Apparently there are spikes on that side. Okay. I kind of have a song in mind too already for the end of the stream, but it's a little bit dark, and so if somebody else has a different idea, well, I could also just do, what's the name of it? The Streetlight Manifesto song that I was talking about, I think on last stream, that Noah reminded me the name of. Ah, Jiminy Crickets, that's a great way to start. But yeah, dreams. So the dream... What dream was it that I had last night that was kind of weird? that's what to talk about. I find it frustrating that I don't remember my dreams as much as I wish I did. I should probably do dream journaling or diary in order to be able to remember that, but yeah. Anyway, fight time. Bugs within this glade are under my watch. Treat them with respect and you may remain, but raise your nail and you'll contend with me. Alright, let's contend then, buddy. Come on, come at me. Dang it. Probably should have rested at a closer bench so you don't have to run all the way back from here each time. We'll fix that first. Howdy, Matt. I'm going to be fighting a lot of bosses today, so if you want to join me in Discord and keep me company, it'd be appreciated. Do-do-do-do. I figure I'll save the wizard hat for when I'm well. Would it be too much to call it weaving spells? I don't think it would be too much to call it that, but it would be a little bit weird, maybe. I don't know. The Blobster Monkey hat is for socialization. Which, speaking of, well, first let me get to a bench. And then while I'm at the bench, let me show something off real quick, because my wife collects pins. That's one of the things that she likes to do. And so, she got me a little VV pin. So now that's my little attacking the darkness. A large selection of despairing songs. I don't know about large collection, but those are the ones that I tend to find myself pulled towards. Lord of the Rings is #1 Christian film of all time, and Pinocchio #2. Alright. Let's try this again. Come at me, bro. Dang it. Jumped a little too soon. Yeah, this one requires some pretty intense focus and timing. So I'm just gonna focus up. Dang it. Flywheel. I don't know if I know that one. But yeah, A Better Place, A Better Time is another one that I wanted to do by Streetlight Manifesto. So that's one that I could sing at the end of stream. Hate Me by Blue October was probably one of the ones that affected me the most the first time I listened to it, and so that was one I was thinking of singing at the end of stream. But yeah. We'll see. I could also do what's it called? Actually, can I just... No, that's not smart. Jump and slash down. That's better. If Only for Memories by Streetlight Manifesto. There we go. I forget how many times I have to hit this guy. It is quite a bit, though. Dang it. Jumped too soon. Despair songs from college. Well, what do you got, Chris? What are your go-tos? Dang it. Once I get rid of this guy, there's a whole bunch in the glade to collect, so... Maybe that's something to talk about. If we don't know what happens when we die, and I understand that there's reason to try and defend life, but... I don't know. It seems like a ghost would have less reason to try and defend its existence than the existence of the ghosts. It's a Wonderful Life. It is a good movie. Come at me, bro. Dang it. Toro, Toro. Ole! Dang it. Dang it. Got him that time. It's the end of the world as we know it. That one? One. Two. Maybe? No. Still on one. Still on one. Two. Three. Four. Five. 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 Six. Six. Seven. Stop pacing and focus on jumping on time, but at the same time, like, don't get flat-footed. I don't know. So we got to 7. Let's try that again. Come at me, bro. 1. 2. Dang it. Dang it. Why does the sun go on shining? Why does the sea go to shore? Don't they know it's the end of the 'cause you don't love me anymore end of the world? I don't know, I don't think I've actually, like, listened to the lyrics carefully of that one before. before. I'm surprised Grizz isn't counting my deaths. Actually, also, how much do I have for another mask? Only 1/4. Okay, well. Here we go. Come on, buddy. One. Howdy, Mills. If I keep sucking at this, I might have to try a different boss. This is just embarrassing. 2. 3.
There, now this is the loneliest place.
There we go. Howdy, Grizz.
What do you want?
Somebody to talk to. Somebody to chill out with. Somebody to watch me
Not
die
even-
over and over again and make fun of me for it.
You're not even streaming to the couch.
Oh, I'm not. You're right. Let me fix that.
Boy, I have got some news for you.
Alright, what's the news?
Thelemites.
Oh,
Thelemite infiltrator.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know how much I can say, but that should be enough.
I mean, that's definitely enough for me, but okay.
Yeah.
Like, corner Dolomite infiltrators?
Oh, even worse. Even worse.
Okay. Your house?
Well, that infiltration isn't worse. That's a different infiltration.
Okay. Because I think I hear giggling in the background of a pair of
Boy,
boys.
howdy.
Hello, good sir.
How do you do, Jonathan and Joe?
Good. Yeah, we've made it to the boat. The general.
Just good news.
He's been enlisted. Enlisted.
Hey, I'm gonna have to shove this up your ass if that's as loud as you can talk.
Talk about it. Okay, yeah.
Soft spoken, man.
Heard that.
You can grab that stool over there, maybe. Apparently, I'll be able to talk from here just fine. The fifth time you die, Ed?
Oh, more than that. I'm trying to just get through this one guy first, and then we can move on, but, he's a little bit difficult. 2 mask attacks are difficult to handle, especially when you get hit as much as I do. Like that.
Well, when you jump into him, I mean.
Well, the problem is that he is changing the direction of his dash based off of your position, like, as he starts the dash. So it's remarkably hard to dodge him. Especially with how fast he moves. I'm surprised that hit.
The master move.
Perhaps we should clarify regarding.
Ah!
Um,
Okay, well, maybe we'll go try something else.
I get all right.
Yeah, how's your guys' drive been? How has Grizz been putting you to good work?
Not too much work yet. We did walk the dog, but we did it all together.
Okay.
And it was nice.
We just got
Good,
here.
yeah, we just got here not long ago.
Okay.
We went to a wonderful diner called the Friendship Inn.
Can't be telling the secret.
Oh shit. You know, or something along those lines. And it was really good. And yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've gotten any updates from these yahoos since DC.
Yes. Or I posted yes.
Maybe one.
Frederick a little bit.
A little bit. So that's like still the DC area, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The other one.
Yep. Hopefully we will have more videos going live soon. Yes. Yeah, it's been good.
It's good to hear.
What else? There's been a lot. There's been a lot going on.
Starting from the top, who's the corner people you've met with in order?
We have, well, some would consider Chris from the shared story part of the corner adjacent, but you
I
would
think we started before that, sir.
yeah, you got the estuary, you got Cece at the
What?
estuary.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Well, sometimes she moves in these Discord spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And the estuary crowd there, including, oh gosh,
What's that?
Gage Murphy, a wonderful lad.
I've seen that name in the comments.
Yeah. And other wonderful people there. Then Chris, we went to Michael Martin.
Michael Martin, the Sophiologist?
Yes, the astrologer and ex-Waldorf teacher, and Druid, who stared back
Mm-hmm.
on Substack.
And then?
You should go
And-
subscribe.
Yeah, and
Corner people after.
Bernie and Bonnie from
Estuary Bernie?
yep, in Michigan, and then Mr. Dale.
Who?
Dale, I don't remember his last name, but he runs an estuary in Michigan City, Indiana.
Corner people.
Adnick?
I don't know.
Dale Vander.
Oh, Vanderdale. Okay.
And then there, and
Corner
I think the
people
next would be like
after.
Joy.
Joy!
Yeah.
And then?
Jason isn't really corner, but he runs the Estuary Hub website.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
David B from
Mm-hmm.
the Discord.
Monsieur Mangrin, yes.
Yeah.
What's that? Who's that? Is it Discord
The
the
guy
One of those people?
I haven't been much in the Discord, so I only know him from my in-person interaction. And it was wonderful. He was like this. He's like a very man's man, kind of, but he's also you can tell he's a sensitive figure.
He was at the DC Estuary. That was his first time going an estuary, I believe, or meeting anyone in
Yep.
person.
Oh.
Oh, his first estuary, you got to be there.
Then
That's pretty cool.
It's been a
also
lot to remember.
We haven't even got to.
the next person. There were some corner adjacent people, but then the next corner person say, it would be McMo.
McMo.
We went to McMo.
What you got? You got 12 seconds with Jordan Hall. You're not.
Oh
even
yeah,
gonna-
yeah.
That was
That was after McMo too.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it is.
okay.
Not on
Yep,
six
we
or
got
nine.
about like maybe 2 to 3 minutes with Jordan Hall.
Yeah.
They stalked him all the way to his church.
Yeah, we was in church. And
Shook his
then,
hand.
Ran away.
try not to talk too much.
Yeah.
And then
Definitely did a little bit. We'll tell you about it.
I don't know.
yeah,
So McMo and then that, and
yep,
then
and then
more McMo.
Forbes
Yeah, more McMo there. And then we went to Gate.
we went to Forbes Caves. And then Gavin.
What? You survived an encounter with Gavin from the corner?
We did. It was amazing.
Were they not or was it not anticipated that they would survive? Like, what's the?
You can't tell if he's a serial killer or not. He always says the right things, but that's why.
I'd say it's definitely not a serial killer.
Yes,
Matthew
more
wants to know if he
exactly.
smelled real.
He smelled very good.
Very
Okay.
good, in fact.
Yeah.
Very real.
Yeah.
I've been told that there's a boss moment caught on video that you guys like just to even more solidify him as Matthew McConaughey of the corner. I think. When this footage gets released,
There's some incredible footage. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
And from Gavin, we went to an estuary last night in Shawnee, Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys get to meet? I think he goes by Liquid Light on Discord.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
I think his first name is out there. I don't know if I should say it.
No, you should.
On the internet on it.
And then
And then we arrived at the general's abode today
Mm-hmm.
A secret.
in an undisclosed underground bunker.
Mm-hmm.
And
and
Yeah.
you were streaming, so we're like, oh, we can't stream against F and his nightly death rate, weekly death rate.
As I repeatedly run into spiky plants.
I watch out for spiky plants.
Oh my goodness. Tripping over them over
So
and
here we
over.
are now, entertainment.
Yeah, so that's the update. It's been amazing, sometimes overwhelming, just insofar as it's a lot going on, you know, as opposed to delivering Amazon packages and listening to videos. But I wouldn't have it any other way. It's
How's
been pretty
the-
awesome.
How's the logistics aspect of it been in terms of like planning things and like trying to schedule stuff as you guys are traveling and going along the route?
Well, been pretty good so far. Actually, the asteroid we went to last night, we were like, it was amazing timing. We were like, hey, anyone in this area doing asteroid? And it was like right on their route. They were like, we're doing one tomorrow night.
It wasn't listed on the website.
And it wasn't listed on the website. And I see you found a mushroom there.
I did. I thought he was able to be talked to. I think I'll just leave him alone.
Sounds like he's mumbling something. Kind of strange. So, yeah. Logistics have been pretty good.
Good.
We're hoping to go to some estuaries in Texas over the next, like, week or two.
Mm-hmm.
So,
If you have one or know,
yeah, you know, yeah, hopefully they
you
will.
guys don't know about it.
Yeah, we haven't looked into like when exactly they're having meetings yet, but hopefully there will be meetings that correspond.
Mhm.
Else, hopefully we'll be able to meet some of these people regardless. So, yeah,
Very nice.
yeah, probably could have done better about like looking into when the scheduled meetings are, but also it's kind of hard to like estimate when we'll be out there. But you know, at least like a week or two ahead of time, I probably could have looked into it. But we're figuring it out.
What do you think? What do you think if I do like $1,000 token goal, and if we achieve the goal, I take the EPA news and we go surprise visit Rick Walker.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
What would Rick think of that?
That's what we would hope to capture on film. Is what he thought of it.
I thought he thought.
Would you let him know you were coming in advance, or would you just show up at his front door and be like, "Hey, how's it going, Rick?"
Surprise.
Cool, you got a surprise.
Oh my goodness.
We're here for a copy of your book.
Mm. Big fans, big fans, the biggest fans.
Well, he would go and the goal that we were going to do it, right? And clearly he watches every stream and would know that we were coming. Oh, yeah.
Somehow I doubt that he watches every one of your streams, Riz. I could be wrong on that, but
He showed up to one and threw away the membership the other day. That was nice.
Yeah.
Your channel members get to make special emojis or no?
No.
Hello. The people on the members of your channel, do they get to make special emojis?
oh, for me, I don't even know if I have memberships enabled yet. I think that you have to have a certain number of subscribers for that, don't you?
I knew once back in my peon days. Now it's beyond me.
Apparently you have to have 50 subscribers in order to live stream, so, you know, we'll get there one day, hopefully before midwinter.
Yeah, starting a new channel. How does that move?
One that doesn't have strikes on its record.
I mean, that was the plan, but it seems like maybe we just got struck against it quickly. I did be putting some brats just in some of those videos. I don't know.
Also, Chris
Have you
says,
watched-
rejoice, you have a stalker felony charge.
Rejoice, you now got the felony charge.
Yeah.
Including Lauren.
Oh, howdy, Chad. And howdy, Spatch. I didn't say hello when you first came in.
Yeah.
We're just listening to these yahoos describe their adventures up to now.
Yep.
Sounds like they've been having a good time.
There's
There's
lots.
so much that belongs behind the paywall, though.
Yeah.
Like the stories they've told me since they've been here.
Ah, I see what you
Like-
mean.
You guys need to know, but we also can't really say it public.
Hmm.
It is the difficulty of this endeavor is
Well,
all the personal conversations, like like it's hard to just like whip out a camera,
Mhm.
But at the same time, I totally agree with Chris that it would be cool if we could get more content out, or more, just allow people to follow along a bit more.
Mhm.
But we're figuring it out, hopefully.
Mhm.
they'll be traveling through the near Las Vegas
Mhm.
in late July,
Mhm.
which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, that'll be hot.
Yeah. Yep.
See, that's why we need the shorts. See them loose dropping the pound. That's the sweat so.
Maybe I could stay up all night at the next 3 episodes that were all like that. Which is like 4 or 5. We'll be done.
All right, then. There's work to do.
Mhm.
You heard it here first, Daph, because we love you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Go die tomorrow.
I'm tried. Also, before you go, Matt accuses you of going corporate. Trying to just turn TLC into a money farm. Very disappointed.
Them or me?
You. You specifically.
There's an episode called Beggars, Busters, Grifters, or Shills. He apparently needs to watch it.
Hey.
He loves Bilboing. Nope. No worries, Chad. Okay. We're gonna try and fight a different boss, so I'm at least varying it up for everyone else's sake as well as mine. Going corporate is still better than going incorporeal. Hello, I see the assassins have failed. Alright, let's give this a try. Come at me, bro. Ow. Dang it. Stop jumping into him and getting hit by random wheel stuff. And I could have dodged away, but I didn't. Alright. Give it another try. Felt like I made pretty good progress. Got through a couple of phases. This whole area swarms with deadly critters, biting, burning, scratching types. I'd thought to test my strength against them. Now that bravado has left me, and all I feel is tired and sore. I'm taking a brief rest I can, then I'm off in search of less terrifying challenge. This nest is no place to die. Poor cloth. Nobody likes Deep Nest. It's a gross, creepy, crawly place. Alright, and it was down to the right. This way. Not onto the spikes, if you can help it. Down a little further. There we go. And once more into the breach. Alright, let's not get away. No, I dodged into it. Let's heal all I can. Okay, we got to phase 2. I think there's a phase 3. That was a glitch. Dang it. Oh, get away from me, little ball. Okay. Alright, we made it to phase 3. We should be able to kill him without too much more trouble. Oh, goodness. Gotta love boss rushes. At least now I'm learning the path to get down there so I don't have to look at my map every 5 seconds like a scrub. And over, and then down, and then down some more, and spikes. You're allowed to stream, McMo. You seem to be the more able to socialite. No, you're... I am not one to say that my spot is reserved. No one shall step on me. Like, this is pretty niche. A custom soundtrack. I would love a custom soundtrack if you want to come on. I don't know if you can pop in my Discord. No. After this round, I will get it going. Come on. And I dodged into it again. There we go. Okay. Dang it. It changes direction too much. There we go. Can't even hit it away. I mean, it makes sense. It's a giant spinning claw. That's so annoying. Links in the description, McMo. Let me pull up Discord so I see when you hop in. Oh, and Chris is here too. Let's see. I'll post the link in the chat too. If I can get it up quickly. Invite. Copy. There we go. Hop in, I'll take you out of baby jail, and you'll be good to join. Most of us have 2 devices at least and can observe both. Yeah, co-streaming. Although, so at a certain point, I don't know if it's still the case for League of Legends streaming, casting, but there were restrictions placed on people being allowed to restream professional events. And so what people started doing was they would do what they called co-streaming. And so they would have what's it called? Like you would have to watch the live stream of the event, but then you could watch their stream at the same time and listen to their commentary. Which was kind of silly, but at the same time I get it. They want people to watch their mainstream for numbers, and so do it like a co-stream. Be a good time. Alright. Get back here. The good news is that it's actually pretty easy to dodge, as long as you're paying attention. I just don't get to do quite as much deeps as I'd like to. But we're going to be more cautious on this one. And still get hit. Like a scrub. Alright, maybe we wait for that to go by. Heal twice and then continue. And get hit again. Phase 3. That was a good bit of damage. Probably should not just go for it, but I'm gonna go for it. And we got it. There we go. There's one boss. Unbelievable. I am defeated at last. So this is what it feels like to be bested. Still though, I am strong, am I not? When you see our king, surely you'll tell him of my valor. Yes, he sent you here to test me, didn't he? I knew he had not forgotten brave Galleon. I am ready to join you now, brothers, you and I. Let us leave this place together. And that's kind of what I was saying before with the ambiguity. Like, clearly he was a soul who couldn't move on because of regrets, and so by besting him in battle, you're helping him to move on. You're not just, like, killing him, taking his life. But is that what you should do? Who knows? Alright. Who's next on our list? Also, is McMoe in yet? Or is he still chilling? He is. Here we go. Take him out of baby jail. Make him a voice chatter. Alright, you should be able to hop in the gaming couch now. And now we get to see where we're going next. If I can find my cursor. Alright. So we got Galleon. Elder Who I think is the... Nope, he's the dashing. He's not the dashing one. Where is he at? In the fungal wastes. Okay. Fastest way to get there is probably just to go direct. Okay. Off we go. What say you, Chris? You got anything going on, or just wanting to hang out for a little bit?
I'm cold. I'm soaking.
I'm sorry to hear.
That's all right. It's getting better.
Okay.
You probably don't want to hear me coughing a lot.
as much as you want to, but I'm guessing you probably want to keep talking to a minimum.
I can
And we
breathe
have
on him.
Mo.
That will help.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. McMullen, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Here, Matthew. So was Chris.
One more time.
Sorry, I'm juggling. I was in the other Discord, the TLC Reloaded, with Matthew Parlato and T, and then I clicked the wrong button and ended up blasting out some of that. So happy to be here, dude. I'm normally like super sleepy on Saturday nights, but today I kind of had a lazy morning. Yeah, a lazy morning, and then I got packing, and so I didn't end up streaming today, and so I was like, maybe I'll just stream tonight. Me and my wife had a lovely date this evening, and then got home fairly early, and I was like, hey, this is primo stream time, and then I got on and saw you were already going, but
No, you're welcome.
but
to
I'm
step on.
happy.
That's fine by me. Like different. I feel like that's one of the things that some folks in TLC probably need to get over, is that you're not gonna catch everything. That there's gonna be some stuff that you miss, and that's okay. So.
Oh yeah. Well, my rule is if there's something I'd rather watch or be a part of, then I'll just do that. You know, because it does take a fair amount of psychic energy, shall we say, to be a good host.
Yes.
And it's much easier to come on somebody else's channel.
Yes.
Because I don't have to, I don't have to worry about as much. But
Chill out.
But yeah, don't let me stop you. I'll share my screen, so if you want to hear the beats I'm making.
Yeah.
But I'll give you, obviously full prerogative to share or not to share.
No, I definitely want to have it coming on. Do I need to share screen for the audio to come through? Probably, huh? Let's see. We're doing it live, folks. We're doing it live.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. Let's see.
Give it a try. Oh yeah, it comes through nice.
Yeah. Discord is much better at sharing audio than StreamYard.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll start from scratch for you guys.
Appreciate it. Alright. And we're up in the fungal wastes, rolling right.
You been thinking about anything recently? Anything new, Af?
Well, I can bring up the topic that I gave us for Estuary and Olympia this past week. It's very curious to me the level of animosity that Malcolm and Simone Collins have towards mystics, and like I find it valuable to listen to them, even if I don't always agree with them, because they have enough valuable insights and enough, like, they're not delusional when they're looking at the things that they're looking at. And so to have somebody basically say, yeah, the world would be better off if all the mystics didn't exist anymore, and then being myself somebody who finds himself somewhat mystically inclined and still finding what they have to say valuable, it's just this weird... I don't know what to think about it, other than I'm gonna keep listening to them and I disagree with them, but that doesn't mean that I don't think that they don't have things of value to say.
Yeah, I find their primary technique to just be a type of confidence or arrogance.
Yes.
It's like, we're right, everybody else is stupid.
Yep.
Come at us.
Yep.
I have had a hard time getting past my original first impression, which is that they were some weird synthesis of like Mormonism and Nietzscheanism.
Yep.
And so yeah, they still kind of give me the willies. and Malcolm all but admitting his participation in secret societies at ARC kind of confirmed most of my worst suspicions about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Malcolm in the Middle said he joined secret societies?
Yeah, you don't remember when he was talking with Christian at ARC? I think it was then, or maybe it was maybe it was around that time, but it was a different. He basically was like, "Yeah, I can admit now that I've been to Bohemian Grove." He like said that at one point.
The fuck?
In
Like, I can admit it now.
I don't understand.
I mean, I don't understand it really either, but that's what he said.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. It was a good point of interjection. I did not catch that part, so that's good to know and good to be aware of.
Unfortunate, you know, it's like always the smartest people. It's like, oh, why are these smart people always joining these horrible cults?
Well, it's not about intelligence. What it's about is achieving control over others. It's that orientation of, am I serving myself or am I serving others? And part of serving myself is getting to the point with others that I can control their behavior. And that's a lot of what that does. At least that's my take on it.
If I was gonna do it, it would be because if you want power, you want to hang around powerful people. So that's probably why people do it.
Oh shoot, that's the voice of Joe Cross coming from Grim Grizz.
Yes, it is.
That means the boys have made it.
Okay. Kind of woo-hoo, I gotta say I'm here.
There we go.
That's crazy that someone who's been inside my house has also been inside of Joy's house and inside of Grim Grizz's house. It's crazy.
Like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon or something. Like, various, we're connecting the web.
They're transmitting a very, very peculiar spike protein to each and every one of us. All part of the plan.
I didn't realize CBD was a spike protein.
Also, howdy, Neil. Good to have you.
Saw some unusual figures in here.
Mm-hmm. A good collection. There's also 2 others that Grizz is bringing on with him, so.
I need to say Ron Copperman's name 3 times. Ron Copperman, in order to summon Ron Copperman to the stream. Ron Copperman is 4.
Well, you gotta have like a proper summoning phrase though. Like just saying somebody's name, it seems like a pretty weak thing. Like you have to say Kierkegaard to summon McMo, so there's gotta be like something different for other people, you know?
Woo! Woo!
Apparently he likes it when you say woo.
Lose his right.
Woo, woo, woo.
Okay, dude.
Dude.
Oh, dude.
Also, Parlato, you should be able to hop in voice chat too now if you want to.
Spider butt.
Spider butt?
Bring on spider butt.
Spider butt? Yeah. Alright, are we going to next?
My dog heard Jonathan and Joe's voice and he got excited. It's kind of sad.
Made quite an impression, I guess.
He was amazing.
I'm trying to get them to take kayfabe to Pastor Paul.
Is Pastor Paul willing to watch kayfabe?
You're always trying to
Take kayfabe?
You gotta keep kayfabe, Grim. You gotta keep kayfabe, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair to him. Think of the dog.
I think you guys are both kind of working something out, you know, on the karmic plane.
Yep. Howling Cliffs. How do I get up?
Hey, how's that journey into the heretics that you guys are doing, Grim and Af? How's that going?
It's been a minute.
Mm-hmm. We've had it on pause for a little bit. That's okay though. It's definitely one of
Last
those take your time with it sort of things.
Last time we tried, a bunch of spiders crawled all over Af's microphone.
Not a bunch, but it was a really weird little thing where like there was a tiny little spider that crawled into one of the holes in my pop filter, and it was just like, I have never seen a spider on my desk before, and there's one literally crawling into where my voice is going. That's a little weird. So maybe nothing, probably nothing, but you know, not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious.
That's a good try.
Hi.
Oh, and Chad's here too. Howdy, Chad.
Hi. Hi, guys. Hi.
Like,
Oh.
We've got more people in the room than are watching on YouTube.
Perfect.
That's how it goes.
See, ideally, somebody StreamYard to this, and it shows us all like.
Wait, we're public?
No, we're not public. We're just, you know, hanging out. Nobody else is here. Nobody else can watch this. Say whatever you want.
Classic.
I can't see it.
Scuttlebutt.
They can't see us?
No. Like, only see me.
Hey,
They can hear us. They can't see us.
But
There's
if you
the
were to
boys.
start, but if McCall, for example, were to start StreamYard and then stream this tab,
Mm-hmm.
Instead.
then everybody, then it would be still worth watching. Instead of this.
But then that would make him a man of low character.
Only if he doesn't.
Yeah, what are you trying to do?
tell
Character.
everybody. There's lots of people with low character around here.
amazing. All these movies.
Stream this tab instead.
Everyone have their Everyone have their topics ready?
Actually, do you guys want to do an impromptu estuary? I'd be
More
down.
than
Yeah, I missed Chad's.
before.
I had to miss the not estuary, so we could get it in.
Okay.
I want to hear what's on Chris Howard's mind.
We'll go in order. So I put mine on the table, the Mystics with Malcolm and Simone thing. McMo, you're up next.
Okay. Trying to figure out what the law of liberty is.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Hmm.
So, the law of liberty. I've been wanting to drill down on what it means, and is it visible? Like, can we look out into life in the church, maybe, or in other spheres, and see the law of liberty at work, or the law of the Spirit, as it's called in Romans? That's what I've been thinking about. I don't have an answer, but I'd be interested in everybody else's answers.
Who is playing Field of Dreams music? Or it was Field of Dreams music. Now it's something different. Is that just a video game?
That's just a video game.
Okay.
I can hang on. Let me turn the volume down a little bit. Also, McMo
But
is.
it's like we're in a factory.
The law of liberty. Can you open up? Can you expect? Oops. So somebody else talking? I'm sorry.
Rejoice, someone else is talking now. Oh, rejoice.
Yeah.
The show is so cringy.
Intentionally cringy though. So McMo Parlato
I
is
like
asking
that
for more of an
I
explanation.
like that one. That was my Parlato impersonation. I like that one. In that video. So the phrase "the law of liberty" comes from the book of James. At least two references, James 1:25. But the one who looks into the perfect law, the law of liberty, and perseveres, being no hearer who forgets, but a doer who acts, he will be blessed in his doing. And then in James 2:12, so speak and so act as those who are to be judged under the law of liberty. And it's often juxtaposed to the law of the flesh, right? And so maybe it's an open question as to whether the law of liberty and the law of the spirit are the same thing. But James calls it the law of liberty. In Romans, specifically in Romans 8, Paul calls it the law of the spirit, contrasts it with the law of the flesh. We are no longer under the law of the flesh, but we are under the law of the spirit, et cetera, et cetera. And so, yeah, that's what I would want to talk about. And basically, it's something like the idea of what does it mean for Jesus to say, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and your neighbor as yourself. In this is all of the law and the prophets. What is that, is that somehow is supposed to equal a life in the spirit and a life under the law of liberty, as if it were like a new law.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would, if we understood what the law of liberty was, it would help us understand a lot of the paradoxes and a lot of the confusion that we often find, not only in kind of religious life, but also maybe political life as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right. But let's put something on the table. Someone we're actually going to pick. What do you got, Neil?
I think
I got nothing.
pass. Okay.
Pushing. Passing.
All right. Chad, how about you?
Pass.
Okay. Chris?
Yeah. I get the impression that Malcolm and Simone issue is one of intelligence. It would really bother them to be in the nitwit church, be in the church of the subgenius, be among the children. I don't know. Run.
I'm having trouble hearing you, Chris.
Yeah, same.
I did hear Malcolm and Simone, though.
I'll try to speak louder. Is it better?
A little bit?
No.
Okay.
Possibly
It
worse.
sounds like you're
talking through. It sounds like you're in a room with the door closed and the microphone's on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
And you have a sore throat.
I have a sore throat. You hear me at all now?
Yeah, you just sound like you have a sore throat.
Okay, that's all right. I said, it reminded me, the Malcolm thing reminded me of, there was a thing that I saw when I was in college about, what was the guy's name? Bob. Mr. Bob and the subgenius. And the, what is it, the other one? Midwit. The midwit thing and the children thing. I think that would be a very difficult bar for them to get under. It's a limbo they might not be able to do.
Do you think Malcolm and Simone can't limbo under the cult of the subgenius?
I think that's a handicap. Kind of like the rich guy with the riches, but for them it's intellectual.
Okay. How about you? Or do we count Grizz, Joe, and John as one person, or as three people?
It's like the Trinity.
Everybody
Everybody
but Sam can think of us as three people.
I'll leave it up to you guys if you want to do one or three topics.
Something about the map.
General, that was very, very funny.
Territory.
Yeah, I can't think of one.
So, like, Chris had somehow about the map.
I also thought of that chick's topic last night. I can't really remember what it was, but it was good. That we didn't want to talk about. If disagreeing is.
Oh yeah, it's conflicts like that.
Is it worthwhile to worship the spaghetti monster if you get to live in an intentional living community?
That's a good one.
Okay. And Neil, you passed.
Only
What
if you
about
follow the law of liberty.
the law of spaghetti.
The love spaghetti.
Liberate the spaghetti!
And then there's like Mother Mary's like mom's spaghetti.
Oh,
Patron Saint Eminem, he gave us great great songs for our religion.
All right, if this is gonna continue, though, Jonathan, whenever you want to speak, I need to get you to get up on that microphone like it's a large Egyptian ballad.
I'm gonna treat this seriously because Grandmaster, it's a good topic.
Yeah. Get up on it. You're too quiet, little.
Wait, and so are we offering topics?
Yeah, you're up.
Yeah, your turn.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah, I'm passing. I thought I didn't.
Well,
I passed.
I really like Grizz's flying spaghetti monster one. I don't think it's possible just based off of the I forget if it was the effective altruism folks or somebody else, but folks who were trying to do that sort of atheist grouping together, that turned into atheism plus and all that other garbage. So I don't think it's possible, but I'd be curious to hear more. How about you, McMo?
I know a little bit maybe from where the idea of gathering around the spaghetti monster might have come from. Jonathan and Joe visited a small community that had an interesting relationship with quote unquote spaghetti. And it was a cause of, not a small amount of apprehension on their part as to whether or not they really wanted to get their hands, whether they wanted to get elbow deep in the spaghetti, I guess you could say. So I'll probably vote for the spaghetti monster one because of that, and also because of the quality of the San Tiedemann joke.
What say you, Chad?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I do have a topic, but I don't know how to articulate it, and I know I passed, and I don't really understand the topics that are on the table. I guess I wouldn't be able to be a part of the midwit cult because I'm just below even that. So
What's on the table so far? What's on the table so far is Malcolm and Simone, lesbian cults. Would you worship a spaghetti monster to live in an intentional community? And is the law of liberty the same thing as the law of the spirit and WTF is dead? Are the topics I remember?
WTF is dead. I want to go with that one.
No, what WTF is dead is in reference to the last topic, which was the liberty, the law of liberty, McMo's law of liberty one. Is that what you're choosing there?
I guess.
We could also wait a second if you want to try and articulate what you've been thinking about a bit more.
I have nothing good to say.
Spaghetti monster.
So who's next to vote? Or who's next to pick?
Chris.
Spaghetti monster.
Well,
so
we're gonna vote McMo's.
Oh wow! So is that 3
Spaghetti
votes? Are you guys a
yeah.
coalition? Is that a voting block?
It might be.
Like the electoral
That's
college.
something that only the law of liberty can really discern, and that's why we're choosing.
Hey,
it.
I'm not going to complain because I didn't know that we were doing this, and so when Mo went ahead, he stumped me so hard. I was having to research just to keep up with what he was saying. So I'm glad we did the recap anyways, and that's why I was midway. I was like, wait, are we doing estuary? Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's
then
in the Bible. It's in the Bible, Parlato. It's in the scripture. The Holy Scriptures is where my content comes from.
In his strange Protestant Bible, that's where it is.
I checked it out.
His Schofield
And
Bible?
so my intuition or anything sensible would say to
Schofield
vote for
Study
that
Bible.
because that's what I was paying attention to. But now I'm kind of into the spaghetti monster thing, and the coalition went Mo. So is someone keeping track? Because I'm gonna go spaghetti monster.
Yeah, actually,
I'm tracking all of you. This is all in the cloud.
I'm actually going to vote for the Trinity because it's actually the best topic that we had so far. So.
That wasn't a topic.
What?
The Trinity.
Sorry.
Okay.
Someone mentioned it, but I don't know if it was a topic.
Yeah. I will say it was not a topic.
Well, you invoked the law of the spirit, so the Trinity's definitely coming around somewhere. But anyways, let's tally them up,
I haven't
boys.
pointed yet.
It's in play.
I'm pointing to Big Mo. I'm pointing to the law of liberty. I want to talk about that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And then
So
Parlato, you're
Trinity
last.
it is?
All right.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I voted it. I apologize. I
Well,
apologize.
it was your. It
I
just
vote-
got to your turn.
Okay, yes, I apologize. I vote for Spaghetti Monster.
Okay. I think Spaghetti Monster has the win, and we will try and thread the other ones in as we go.
Is this a view of Grimm's place that we have? I don't think I've seen this view of Grimm's place, or if I have seen it, it's from years ago, Grim Grizz.
I haven't shot the camera at that angle.
You should sit on the
Long
couch.
time. I should. I'm not.
So how we opening spaghettis?
Well, I guess it's on these two.
Yeah.
I mean, the question is, would you live for the pleasure of living in an intentional community, would you go along with the Spaghetti Monster worship?
It depends.
No.
If they were
Oh.
probably not. I would probably say no. But also, it was interesting. As McMo said, we did visit a place. We met a wonderful woman named Jillian, who was living at this property, who was owned by an individual who goes by the name of Spaghetti.
What's the landowner's name?
Yeah, and I was very much, curious. They have a website. What is it called?
I'll post a link to the website.
And so I was, of course, curious about this spaghetti guy. We didn't get to meet him, but, it seemed like it was kind of a live and let live situation. But also, it's true that I would probably want a different and more explicit, either, set of principles or like a set of, just like a shared agreement and like rituals, of course, like communal meals, so I don't know if I would want to live at that particular one, but it was also really inspiring and cool to see people kind of living together in a different way. They did like events and but it was kind of like just cool to see the different way of doing culture, but I don't know if I would, join in, because I am not also I should say, I think the whole spaghetti thing was kind of, Spaghetti Monster, I think they kind of have it as like a joke, kind of.
Because their landlord's name is Spaghetti, and that's who they worship.
Could be more like that. But
Make
I
sure
don't
you
know.
tip your landlords, everybody.
Yeah,
Aren't we flirting? Go ahead, Jonathan.
So, yeah, that was pretty much it. Just I don't know. Like the Jillian who we were talking with suggested that we start one of our own, because she could kind of tell that I kept wondering about, what's the philosophical framework, what's the shared, practices or something like that. Like, are you guys?
Because this was just a landlord situation, and for an example, a Horus worshiper who doesn't like the Spaghetti Monster at all could move in with these people. As long as there was an opening in the place, was it? How much
Weren't we all there? Everyone in this room. Maybe not McMo or Chris Howard. I was there.
You went to
In the land of the Spaghetti Monster.
What is worship?
Wait, I'm
mean?
confused.
Like, what does it mean to worship? Like, what would it mean to actually worship the Spaghetti Monster?
Okay.
Do I just eat spaghetti?
Well, it's a good point. How like kind of the joking nature of it, like they're still an act. If they're going through the motions from. Sorry, having trouble keeping a line of thought. It's like, even if they're not serious in what they're saying and it's just a joke, they're still kind of Yeah, they're still kind of worshiping in a sense.
Avril died.
Repeatedly. I'd lost a lot of Geo too. It's a great time.
Yeah.
Okay, Nate.
You gotta let other people
Neil,
talk.
can you clarify? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can we watch this?
I stepped over somebody.
Oh, I gotta run, guys. Toodles.
Bye, Chad. Thanks for joining.
I think that it speaks to a type of the last vestiges of not falling to irony completely or to nihilism completely. And this is what Neil was pointing to. It's like, I will take anything if it means I'm no longer trapped with just me and my screen and my day job. You know, whatever to take me out of myself and my day job is good enough for me. I think that it's kind of obvious that I would not want to join a community, that the telos of the community was this type of winking. We want to be structured like we're worshiping a deity, but we can't for the life of us come up with anything worthy of worship. That's what it speaks to for me. And so it's quite possible that there would be much to learn from in terms of organization and structure, and maybe even like best practices for like discipline and boundaries. And there's plenty that could probably be learned from a community like that. But as far as like an option for solving the meaning crisis as like a potential for taking active steps away from modernity, I think it's a really bad idea. But also, as they brought it up, you can see we can see if we're on the call, but the YouTube audience can't see that something happened over at Grim Griz's abode. There was some commotion. They were all up and moving. Something happened. So even the invocation of the spaghetti monster himself, which I'll also add, I never laughed too hard at the spaghetti monster stuff, because spaghetti monster to me always sounded like the type of thing you would see if you were schizophrenic or had taken too many drugs. So I was like, yeah, that just might as well be a demon, and that's so, and and of course it's nothing, right? But this is also in the book of James, where it's like, of course it's the idols that people worship. They're not like actual deities or whatever, but it's like at worst they're worshiping an object.
That's not the worst.
At best,
at best they're worshiping an object.
Yeah, at best they're worshiping an object. At worst, it's a demon, right? And so it's something to be very wary of, but also it's nothing to be afraid of, because at the end of the day, it's like we have the God of the universe on our side, and it's much better to worship him than to worship anything else. So that would be my 2 cents.
Well, everything is a cult of the spaghetti monster until it reaches a certain number of believers.
Neil, before you go, can you clarify what you meant by we've all been there? Who in this been? I'm still stuck on that.
I've heard your rando story, Parlato. Like you had a matrix by which you were living your life, by which you valued certain things in your life, and that was the God of your understanding. I mean, I had the God of my understanding at that time. That's what we're talking about, at least in my mind, when we say, when we say we're gonna get. Well, I'll put it this way. When he's saying like live in a nice, what did you say, Grim, gated community or whatever. But it's, if you can get exactly what you're looking for, and all you need to do is play the same game as everybody else. That's all you need to do.
What is it?
That's how Yeah.
What's your telos?
Well, that's it.
Eschaton?
Well, that's the law of liberty right there. That ties directly in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think there is a way to connect it, but I'm worried that we're because I think you're doing a very there's a giant steel manning of what was put down with this God of your understanding, because I'm on this I'm still stuck. I'm like, we're very much flirting with cultism, and yeah, I think Mo was trying to articulate some of that on, if there's no connection to any like truth or reality, and you can just worship and coalesce around whatever, and maybe perhaps
That's my liberty.
There could be some like utilitarian or pragmatic good from that, but I would also just caution that it actually needs to be connected to truth, right? To goodness, to the action.
Well, if you want it to be true, good, and beautiful, then yes, you should probably connect it to truth, good, and beauty, but that doesn't mean that you can't create something that is disconnected from those and focus your attention and your worship on that. You can do that. It's just has very predictable outcomes.
But the question was, would you? The question was, would you worship the? Would you
I?
worship the
No.
spaghetti just for the intentional community?
Would others? Absolutely yes.
So I just think, I think there's a short-term pragmatic maybe glimmer of hope, but in the end, if for anything to endure, it has to be tethered to it has to have a veracity. It has to be participating in a veritable connection to reality.
Yeah.
But by what aspect of the law of liberty are we even wanting to have these things called an intentional community? What the f- does that even mean?
Well, I think if you're around something that is connected to the truth, now you can start connecting. Now you can start deriving laws, right? Now you can see that the natural law in order that comes that is abundant and apparent in creation. In some way, not in some way, in all ways, is informed by the creator, right? It has it has an actual connection to the almighty truth and almighty reality. And then, where are those laws shaken? Because that's what I was curious is with what the corner has been talking about so much was if the law of liberty was very relevant. I actually think it kind of is, because with the law of liberty, from what I saw, there was also this teleology that is inherent in it, because it's this peace and grace and freedom you experience while you're in God's why you're receiving God's grace, right? Why you're being illumined by the faith and enjoying that journey. It's so there's that constraint in that border that is also then saying, all right, now you can enjoy the law of liberty. Now you can enjoy that freedom, which I think is just very relevant to a lot of the conversations today. Anyways, that's a lot.
Well, and it's a Christian absurdist point, right? That the yoke is easy, his yoke is easy, and what is it? Oh shoot, I'm not gonna remember the actual quote. My
Yoke
burden is easy and my
burden.
yoke is light. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you mix that with it's for freedom that he set us free, and you mix that with no one can say they love God if they don't keep his commandments. And so you start seeing that this is in some way the Christian pattern, right? That the highest serves the lowest. And so of course what would characterize the life of the Christian would be this absolute obedience to the will of the Father. And it just so happens that coincides with this absolute experience of personal freedom. And so this is why it's very difficult to kind of parse out the difference between the ideal of liberalism, shall we say, and the Christianity as it's taught.
Well,
does that make sense?
Let me try to steelman those two things, the ideal of liberalism and Christianity as it's taught. So imagine that. Imagine in order to get the best result or the maximal results, you need the most difficult challenge. Mm-hmm. And so the most difficult challenge in a scenario is not 3 choices, it's 1,000,000 choices. So you could think of like ultra wide is the way and ultra many are the paths that lead to destruction. Mm-hmm. And it becomes all the more essential to have a guiding light, to have an orienting principle, whatever that orientation is. It almost becomes essential because you no longer have that's just the one way that everybody goes. So I see those two things as directly in relation, let's say, the liberalism of all possible paths and Christianity, because it requires our hearts. Like it requires consciousness. That's what it actually requires. It requires consciousness.
I would want to be more careful with your words about all possible paths, because I think in Christianity there's smuggled that there can't be all possible paths, right? There's still this framework that is set up that you can set yourself up diametrically opposed. Yeah.
No, that's the point I'm making, Matt. Is that if liberalism pushes all possible paths to their maximal outcome, whatever that maximum outcome is, without directly hurting other people, it allows like maximal freedom in this world. That's the whole point of the liberal project. But what I'm saying is,
I think that the puzzle is easier, or paradox is easier unraveled at the place of the will, the human will, because so that we don't get bogged down in kind of like hypothetical potential futures kind of a thing. If we just stick with let me see if I can start here. Be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. This is the narrow path. It's the path of the single individual. And anytime you step out of be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect, you're off the narrow path in a sense. And so that means a few things. I think it means that, one, the narrow path can look very differently from individual to individual. But notice how it really has to do with that alignment. Like, this is what the law of liberty kind of has to mean, I think, is that there's a perfect alignment between our will and God's will. And that has to be a cooperative, it has to be a cooperative action, but it has to be a cooperative action because of God's grace to us, right? So it's not ultimately cooperative in one sense, meaning that we don't create our own meaning. We don't give ourselves we don't have infinite choices, right? We have a very confined set of choices in front of us.
Well,
in a sense, look at that.
He's half an hour late, but he's here, ladies and gentlemen.
Howdy,
it worked.
Ron.
It worked. We got Ron.
It's a delayed summoning.
I just got done with worship.
Praise the Lord.
Oh, it's just starting, sir. The worship is just starting.
It never ceases. It never ceases. We are only at different proximities to it.
Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Welcome, Ron Copper.
Hi guys. So what's on the
top? The corner is trying to turn the corner into American Idol more than any other.
I mean, I think I've sung the most on stream now, but I could. Well, maybe Chad actually.
Oh.
Now keep going, McMo. Keep going.
Well, I think it just it's something about the wills, right? And it has to do with St. Augustine in Confessions talking about his will was opposed to the will of God. It has to do with the book of James being double-minded. Such man should not expect anything good from God. And so, yeah, I think that this kind of double-mindedness or disparity in will is the primary bind that keeps us from being able to understand the law of liberty, right? And I think that there are some of us who have probably experienced it more often than some others of us. I don't particularly claim to have experienced it very much at all, but like that may also be a part of the will of God. But yeah, my whole point, I suppose, is to maybe try to focus us in, if the group would allow, on that kind of idea of our will versus God's will, and were we able to kind of will what we will, the Romans 7 to Romans 8 move, that seems to be the kind of place where we would need to be able to stand in order to understand what the law of liberty feels like or means.
Can I
Wait.
I think.
Let me interject one thing real quick. Chris, am I the only one who's thinking law of confusion in conjunction with law of liberty?
No,
Okay.
that's free will. But
Okay.
what since it's opposed,
Let the three-headed monster speak.
since it's opposed as the law of liberty as opposed to the law of the flesh, and also known as the law of the spirit, what the obvious to me is the beast takes what it wants and gets what it gets is the law of the flesh. And like if you in the spirit are free from the dictates of the laws of your flesh, like you don't have to eat when it says you have to eat, you don't have to kill when it tells you to kill, you don't have to fuck when it tells you to fuck, like,
And you also don't have to get circumcised. That was like a big deal when it was first written too. The law of the flesh had to do with circumcision.
and then like when you're free of that, then you're experiencing the law of liberty, which is you're free to attune to the will of the Father in the moment, in the now, because you're not bound by the other laws. But Jonathan says,
Well, very interesting. I don't know. It's making me think of one of the clips on my channel, which I watched earlier today with Joe Man, as I tend to do, watching my own clips, or the clips of other people that I've posted, of Peugeot talking about freedom and free will and such, where he draws the analogy of like a car, where it's that if you want the freedom of being able to drive wherever you want, you have to submit to the, in a sense, the corporeal law of learning how to drive and the rules of the road, and then in submitting to those rules, you are given that true freedom of like in doing the good and kind of submitting to human nature. You could think then I'm brought into my full humanness and can do what I truly will, or something like that. Dangerous terminology, of course, but I also think you could look at this in astrological terms, where it's like if I realize that I kind of have certain constraints or strong suits in my birth chart, and if I kind of submit to those in a way, then I don't know if I'm articulating this very well, but it's like if I have an intentional relationship with my my strengths, then then I can make the most of them. Then I have the freedom to be who I truly am, or something like. I feel like I didn't articulate that part as well, but with the car, something like that. I don't know how that would correspond.
It's very tricky because I think I understand what you're saying. Like, to me, it comes down to the problem of I don't want to follow the rules of the road. I want to go 5 miles over the speed limit. I want to go 10 miles over this. I don't want to always have to do my blinker, right?
Single beer too.
Yeah, I don't want to have to drive without alcohol in the cup holder. That's just un-American and not right. They should have never made those laws.
Come down to Louisiana.
Not in Texas. You can drink and drive in Texas.
We got drive-through daiquiri stands here.
But yeah, so to me, it's like maybe the best way to put it would be something like you're actually not free unless deep down in your soul, your will is to do the good, which is the will of God, right? That your will is the will of God. Like that is the only actual freedom, because anything else, you're a slave to something, right? You're a slave to your passions, or you're a slave to, the world. You're a slave to your boss. What is Peugeot taking, or Parlato? What is Parlato taking photos of?
Can't believe McWoke is saying this right now. Keep going,
Parlato.
man.
I'm a more conservative Christian man than you'll ever dream to be. What are you talking about?
Keep going. I'm sorry, that was inappropriate. I'm sorry, that was inappropriate. Keep going.
No, that was pretty much done, right? Like I think that's where we probably are trying to get to, is something like how do we manhandle our wills? But see, that's the problem, is if you manhandle it, then it's not, you're still kind of, you're betraying yourself, because you're showing that your will is not to do the will of God. Like you're having to force yourself to do it.
I posit that you can't align your will to the will of God.
What about
Well,
saints?
wait. Can I pose a question to Grim? I want to pose a question.
Let me clarify
there-
that quick.
Yep.
What such says that the will of God is that the light shines on the light and the dark equally. And I don't think we as humans in the knowledge of good and evil system can do that. So go ahead, you're gonna ask.
I agree with Grim, but it's not through our own understanding that it can be done. But it is possible by the Holy Spirit, if we allow Him.
Okay, before we move on to the will, I think we can put a bow on something about. I think we've come to a consensus that liberalism in its own being is very much just an abstract kind of attitude or sentiment or sensibility, but in any actual existence, it is always being caveated or presupposed or in relation with a constraining value system that says we are not entirely liberal. Shout out Mick Woke.
Well, no,
Well,
see, I think
wait.
That we can say
It's
that
Neil's turn.
liberalism.
I have a
we can say that
rebuttal to
liberalism
Parlo.
Yeah, so do I.
Neil, it's your turn. You go.
Well, you said there's always a. You might be right that there's always a smuggled in value scheme, but that's not directly inherent to liberalism. I would say the unique trait of liberalism is trusting that no one person or body or human entity knows best what the outcome is. It is a fundamental act of trust to say we don't want a king. Like we're going to trust whatever's beyond the king.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's that is like liberalism is. There's no one but God gonna tell me what to do, except politically correct. We had to remove that God part, so it's just now no one can tell anybody what to do.
But I want to pose a question to you, Grim. I want to pose. So I want to ask if you believe in qualitative distinctions of personal alignment with God's will. Have you intuited, felt, pick your adjective, over the course of your life at various times, you're more in line with God's will, you're less in line with God's will? What is your intuition of morality? That's what I'm trying to get at, Grim.
My intuition, morality, and the other part of your question are completely different. The other part of your question...
They're not different unless you're a relational, postmodern, everybody's got their own morality, man.
They're very different. Because, like, as far as God's will goes, the only extent I can ever be in alignment with it is that myself is empty and a clean vessel for the Holy Spirit to act in this world. So the absence of my will in a situation is how I see alignment with God's will, not like how I'm living my life and all of that. That's not.
But an alignment of the will is not an absence of your will.
Like I negate my own will by subserving it to the will of the Father, and doing so makes me empty.
But how is that different than possession? Because that's also a negation of the will. So you still have to discern what will you're subordinating yourself to.
I don't know that it is different than possession.
I think maybe the
I don't think you actually believe that, Grim. I don't think you believe that.
I'm seeing what Grim's putting down.
I think he probably believes that.
With the extent, like, the big difference is consent. Okay, but aside from that, no, possess me, Holy Spirit. Heal this person in front of me, because it ain't going to be me doing jack shit, except serving as a vehicle for your divine will. So,
yeah, so I think that there are some ways to launder Grimm's ideas and make them more Christian, certainly. At the very least, I think what you're pointing to, Grim, is that if it's to happen, it's either going to be this kind of complete self-emptying, which I would say has probably only ever happened once, or maybe it's happened with the saints. But what's more important is that or at least more important to me, is the miraculous nature of God's grace
to those who fail to empty themselves out whatsoever. And so that it's actually far more like if I were to describe it internally, it's more like there was a siege on myself, and parts of myself were taken out of me. Or you could think of it as my heart of stone was and is being turned into a heart of flesh, right? So it's less of this kind of quantitative absolute lack or void versus
You're tying that to will alignment?
Yeah,
I'm
tying that to will alignment because this would be my contention, is that it is a miracle when a human being's will is aligned to God's will, and it's a miracle that we see it all the time. And it's the love of Christ himself says no man has any greater love than this, that he should lay down his life for his friends. And that is the most human thing. It's been done time and time again, and it's a miracle every time it happens, because that's an obvious example of a human being's will being aligned with God's will. And it doesn't take them having to have this like kenotic self-emptying moment before it happens.
The most human thing. Your words.
All that's tied to the miracle of consciousness, because that's what consciousness is. It's a self-awareness of this is what I want, and this is something higher or different that I can choose otherwise.
Also, I want to apologize. I get preachy after 10 p.m. So apologies if I go too hard.
You're peachy keen, Georgia.
It feels like that's just there's so much woo and modernism around consciousness. But I hear what you're saying. What I would say is that by grace, this is the creature God has made us to be, right? Is that we actually can have the intellect to guide our will, and we can have grace and an ability to attune in the most extreme moments, that that even though we are fallen, that we actually are this very unique and special instrument that can also we can also go upward in that regard. And so I think I think Mo put it good when he put it like a dichotomy, or at least put two on it. I would say maybe there's a polarity, but for sure you can get there through an emptying. But I think there's also certainly this is built in. This is also just a feature. This is a positive aspect of the human experience by God's grace.
Papanada.
I'm not gonna say papanada, and that the emptying I was referring to isn't necessarily intentional, and so I don't want that misconnotation. Like when the divine spirit kicks in, you don't resist it. I think they told me they tried to make me feel better about calling the Holy Spirit the juice, since blasphemy against the Holy Ghost is the only unforgivable sin. And so they gave it to me that like when it tries to move through you assert yourself and don't allow that, and that is what they thought blasphemy against the Holy Spirit was. I don't know how that ties back to the laws.
Mo, can you? I'm curious what the Reformed understanding of blasphemy against the Holy Spirit is.
The Reformed view. That's a good question. I do remember listening to R.C. Sproul talk about it. What Grimm was talking about sounded like the Reformed notion of irresistible grace. That's the I in tulip. But let's see. If my memory serves me correct, the basic Reformed view on blaspheming of the Holy Spirit is that it's a very difficult notion to understand, and one should be very slow in trying to name exactly what it is, but that it is essentially, I think it would have to be something like a state of heart that is continually against the work of God. So that the intention, if the intentional move is made to basically say I'm going to seek the will of God and do the opposite, it would be something like that. And it's and my memory of it too is that it's
knowing the will of
a-
God and choosing otherwise. It's like actually
not
knowing.
otherwise. Yeah, so the reformed would be something like not otherwise but opposite. Yeah, and because that matters, because it's kind of like it's a heart disposition, but it's also kind of like an agreement with yourself that you're not going to allow the Spirit to work, basically. But yeah, Ron, you go.
Yeah, the one scripture that comes to mind that I think that nails this quick is there was a man with the withered hand that was brought into the temple, and they baited Jesus to heal on the Sabbath. He heals, and scripture says he looked at them and he was angry because of their hardness of heart. And then after that, he talks about blaspheming the Holy Spirit. So it is my opinion that when you have an overt, beautiful move of God and you call it Satan. So it's not just freaking out or maybe pushing back because you don't understand. It's seeing God move and going, you're the devil. That's my opinion. It's
a matter of falseness of witnessing.
Okay, yeah, I can live with that. Yeah.
I mean, that's me something the way you're saying to me, the way it sounds like you're saying it, like bearing false witness against the Holy Spirit.
We can't see it.
So my experience with the whole conversation has been that mostly people do one of two things. One, either they're doing their very best to not define it so as to not provoke kind of a weak conscience and a fear or a paranoia that one is unsavable. Because scripture is pretty clear that God desires all to be saved, and God almost always gets exactly what he desires. That's kind of the Reformed view on things. But then also I see people who... and this would be my kind of take on it, is that it's kind of, people hear blasphemy of the Holy Spirit and they think of it as like an action that you can do. When I would probably think that it's kind of a summation of a life lived in opposition, in knowing opposition to God.
Like the totality of your crown chakra.
Yeah, something like that. But that that the impossibility of the forgiveness is not kind of on God's side, that there's just this one thing that he just is beyond the pale for him. It's not that at all. It's that there are actions apparently that take you outside of the category of sin which can be forgiven. Which kind of logically necessarily has to be the case. For forgiveness to be universal, there has to be something that's unforgivable, just so that the logic works out. But that's a whole nother discussion.
Kierkegaard.
I don't remember what Kierkegaard has to say about blaspheming the Holy Spirit. Nothing is coming to mind about what he would say about it. So he doesn't doesn't talk about everything.
Interestingly enough, I think that's still highly appropriate and relevant to the prior topic that we were circling around, because I think it also highlights this idea of
I'm glad we're getting
perfect exemplification of actually no, there is bad, there is evil, there is something that you need to outline and say you cannot do.
Yeah. So to get it back to the liberalism
and my
thing,
little joke on the. Never mind, go ahead. I don't want to make the joke.
Well, yeah. Eventually, tell me it's a joke. Eventually, don't forget it forever. I'd love to hear it. But I did want to get us back to the kind of the political idea of liberalism, because what I was going to say, that my view on that and why I don't think you completely you heard my words, but maybe got too excited. I don't want to get you too excited, because I think that it's very possible that, let's just put it to America, that God's plan for America is liberalism, insofar as it makes available the individual's confrontation with their own disparity of will. Does that make sense? Like, it may, in God's divine plan, exactly. This is a Patriot stream.
Can you briefly double
Amen,
click on
brother.
disparity of will?
No,
Yeah, so
no. 10-yard penalty. Never ever please double click on
Rumspringer.
That's a buzzword, holy word. Double click.
Can you clarify?
It's a very useful turn. It's a useful turn of phrase. I'll allow it.
Right click on it, Mo. Right click
Okay.
on it. And
I'll right click on it. Yeah, I'll select from the video.
See, there's that 15-year generational gap between these two subjects.
Yeah, I think that it may be possible that the myth of liberalism creates a certain type of flavor or an aroma when integrated within Christianity that for a certain time and place is actually the exact right venom or the anti-venom of the gospel, if that makes sense. It's a backwards way of looking at it, I'll admit that. But it's something like it was good for the Israelites to be enslaved by Egypt so that they had those tools in the promised land, right? It's something like that, perhaps. And so I wouldn't want you to take what I was saying as like a full-throated attack on liberalism as such, because I think it's very possible that there's lots of baby. I'm still in the. There's lots of baby in the bathwater.
You're not gonna get me to disagree there. I'm very much in the camp of, you get the government you deserve, government appropriate to the people. I don't care. I don't think Jesus was a liberal. Whatever Jesus tells me, I can. If it's monarchy, oligarchy, or democracy, I'll figure it out as long as Jesus.
No, Jesus is the king's slave, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all authority on heaven and on earth has been given to him, and he puts himself under submission to the worst of the worst.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a category for Christ in the realm of politics. There's only king and slave.
That's a great point.
I want to pivot this conversation a little bit if you'll humor me, but I think it's compelling, provocative enough to pivot. We had this discussion at the Not Estuary earlier today, and the discussion was, okay, the war language of Jordan Hall. What does it mean to be in a war where our Lord and Savior, only time in history, he voluntarily loses the war? Like, what does it mean? Especially if it's spiritual war.
Object.
Define winning and losing.
I don't think he lost
That's
the war.
it.
I think he went to the gates of hell, which is a place where there's a big rock. It's over there in the Middle East, and I think he said exactly what he's gonna do, and that speech he gave there wasn't about losing the war.
But that wasn't about him doing it. It was about him. It was, in effect, liberalism is him giving up the authority to do something about it to the Father.
I don't know. No, where in the Bible is this speech on a rock? I might need to reference it, but the way I understand it, he pretty much told them that the gates of hell were in deep, which is not to me losing the war.
Oh, I was thinking, destroy this, or no. I'm not. I was thinking Jesus prophesying, "Weep for your children and your children's children," and that every stone of this temple will be cast down. But
yeah, I think that's a different speech. I think that's a different. Where's the on this rock Peter part? Where's that? I think the part I'm talking about is right before that.
On this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. And then in the next paragraph, he's saying to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan."
No, you got to go forward. You got to go backwards. So before that, he's asking the disciples, "Who do you say that I am?" And before he's asking that because He's just, and I don't remember the exact speech, but my memory of the story is that he had just given a speech where people misunderstood what he was saying about himself. I don't remember the passage. I think it's Matthew.
My understanding is that like where he was when he gave that speech is a place they knew is the gates of hell.
All right, the joke is back relevant. So I held up the Catholic Encyclopedia because you could actually go to a source that has like an agreed upon and lots of impressive minds have got together and articulate.
Yeah, why don't you bring up the article on the Council of Trent and see what it says.
We need that though. We actually need like representatives of the faith that have the. All right, here's
the Catholic Encyclopedia. This is the exact opposite.
Tamir
would recognize this book.
We don't need the Catholic Encyclopedia. We have Marcher.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
He only does fed shit in Discord, right? He doesn't get on stream.
He does every now and I think he's gotten on a stream. He got on a Luke stream once. And then one time Nathan Ortman streamed him against his consent.
Okay, I actually got it this time. We got the encyclopedia. What do you want to know?
No, that's the catechism. That's not the encyclopedia.
Let me see the back of that thing, the side there where it says how much you haven't opened it, because you can tell that it's never been cracked open.
I got another copy.
Poser, Neil.
I got another copy in my car.
Yeah.
Is Neil a poser Catholic?
No, he just got some books. Part of his cover identity.
What? No, but I do want to talk about this war question.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a valid question.
Because
I think it separates Christians from every other tradition out there that I know. Well, that's not true. Jainism, they're pacifists, but
I would say it like this: as someone who's been around some dark spirits, take them very serious at their word. They tell you, they tell you that. Like here, I'll spoiler. They tell you you're in a war. Believe them. So.
Yeah. So once again, I'm always going to want to point to the seeming paradox in the life of Jesus, right? Because he says two famous statements about swords. He says, "I don't come in peace, but with a sword." And one of the first Christian rap songs I ever heard was by this local guy by the name of Zion in Savannah, Georgia, and he had this rap line that was like, "I don't come in peace." He kind of sounded like DMX, but a sword, double-edged in the name of the Lord. And so I always remember that because it's cool. Double-edged in the name of the Lord. It's pretty badass. Anyway, the other one, which is seemingly contradictory to that, is after Peter basically brandishes his weapon to protect Jesus. The same desire that got him called Satan by Christ, keeping Christ from doing what he was sent to earth to do, essentially. And Jesus heals the guy's. So Peter cuts off this dude's ear. Jesus heals the ear and says, "You live by the sword, you die by the sword." So what is that supposed to mean? That if you don't live by the sword, you won't die by the sword? Well, all of history is an obvious example that if the other person's sword is better than your sword, it doesn't matter if you live by the sword or not. You're dying by the better sword. And so I think that when the Christian talks about war, we should be very careful how we speak, because there is a militant nature to Christianity. There is, Paul uses lots of metaphors of, put on the armor of God. Like it's all through it, And then at the same time, you absolutely have a very robust tradition and argument made for hyper pacifism, like perfect pacifism. And so it comes down, in my opinion, and this is Kierkegaard, it comes down to faith, right? So it doesn't matter whether you wield the sword or whether you accept the sword willingly.
while praying, you know, martyrdom or being a soldier. There's a sense in which if your will is aligned with God's will, and God's will is for you to do the thing you're doing, then you're doing it right. So that can be seen as an evasion of the war question, but I think that it's the only applicable explanation, because war can't be this thing that's like a unique set of circumstances, right? Not for the Christian, because we're meant to put on the full armor of God every day. And it says Christianity is violencing for. There's a weird verse where there's a verb that we don't have for English, and it basically says the kingdom of God is violencing forth, and it's the violent who take it by force. And so there's even this kind of call for a type of violence, and the Reformed view on it, basically, my tradition, is that violence is meant to be turned inwards towards our flesh, towards the old man, towards the self, that we die daily. And sometimes, so yeah, go ahead. I have lots of thoughts. I could keep going, I suppose, but
there's a very necessary discernment here, because I feel a radical receptivity and passivity to this faith can be construed from there, because, and this is here comes the Catholic, get to shine. This is one of the beauties of our tradition, because we acknowledge you, we acknowledge you that the profundity and that axiomatic nature of that faith, right? Dogma, blah blah blah. But we also say that there also is this intelligible, rational aspect that we can interrogate, follow along, and we can.
Ron, are demons coming through your microphone?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was a helicopter. My apologies.
They all mine.
Anyways, so I think that there is a way in which you want to say that, hey, we can actually recognize they're calling us into war. They're doing these. Grim Grizz is all over this. I thought it was hilarious. Jordan Hall's tweet was hilariously. It was perfect. It was so exemplary of the last 10 years TLC. It was perfect. It was perfect. Mwah, chef's kiss. And so yeah, we're in fifth generational spiritual warfare. Like, now, to the degree that you want to accept faith and accept the matter and fight or not fight, I understand. Like I said, at least at that ground, get off the it's part of the tradition. You have to understand that there are aspects that you're going to. That you can't navigate, and that rational interrogation will fall short, and there are even starting points I think to even give you more of the nod. But the fact is that you still would want to be able to be human, act human, to try and navigate this, and like the idea of like the militarized Christianity. Like, sure, I think also in the standard of the standard of relative humanity, I think it's like it's almost a joke of what Christianity would have done militarized. Like, if anything, the nastiest thing we're seeing is this kind of like diffused perversion of Christianity with soft power everywhere. Like, I think is the darker side of like this last gasp of Christianity. What you saw with the Empire of Britain was, with a lot of black eyes, a lot of good and grace being brought around the world, right? And even the gospel, explicitly. There you go.
yeah. So what you're saying, kind of to my ears, basically sounds. I mean, that last part was basically that a weak Christendom is much less honorable than a strong Christendom, and I probably agree with you in that in some sense. But like, to me, I think the danger is, or the temptation is, to compare a type of stupid pacifism or an ignorant pacifism with a type of similarly ignorant or stupid warmongering. And both sides are tempted to think the worst of the other in such scenarios. The way that I think I would want to put it is something like, the proper pacifist draws the battle lines as close as personal.
Can I real quick though? I think the warmongering is that's a ridiculous straw man. You have the battle's been laid there. Anyways,
I think that I think that the hippie pacifist is also a foolish straw man. Like I'm not disagreeing with you at all. But I see that kind of those who prefer the pacifism route. They tend to see people who have good reasons for quote unquote just war and call them warmongers, and then vice versa.
It's a disconnected interpretation to bring up warmongering in relation to Jordan Hall's tweet. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. I just meant to say that because I think that those are kind of the extremes that both sides mistake the other for, and a lot of the pushback to the kind of war language, I think, has been because of that kind of stereotyping, essentially. But yeah, the more important part to me is that I would want to say that the proper battle line is much closer to home, right? Like I'm closer to like a personalist. I would say that the battle between flesh and blood is actually much further away from me, and that is to say, that's not what I've been charged to do, right? That's not the place that the general has sent me, and not General Griswold Grimm, Gaius Grimm of the 4th LARP Aggression Protocol.
Second LARP Aggression Protocol.
The problem is when we start meddling in these generalities.
Right, like, well, there's an aspect of that too, but what I'm also trying to say is that I try to bring the intensity of a good soldier to doing the dishes for my wife. I often fail, but I think that is and even deeper than that. I'm trying to put to death the works of the flesh. And that's a very violent internal mode to be in. And I think that the violence, that internal violence, is the type of war mode, strong Christianity. Most of the verses or most of the tradition that's kind of been put towards just war theory, in some sense, I think is like good, but it's also back to the law of liberty, right? If every man were perfectly obedient to the will of God, then we would not have war in the same way that we do, perhaps. But Christ says wars and rumors of war. So like we shouldn't be surprised. Like this is the thing that I think is frustrating to someone like me, is I grew up in a church that sang the battle hymn of the Republic. Like I was told that I was in a war just as intense as the war on terror growing up, and that it was for my very soul, and it happened every single day. And if I slept, or if I got lazy with the war that was going on for my heart and my soul, then I was basically a deserter, equivalent to a deserter on the front lines of the, Operation Iraqi Freedom. And so like, it's what's crazy to me is kind of the response of the pride, like that anybody would think that we're not in a war is kind of more surprising to me, I should say, than the opposite. That being said, I think you can get too carried away with the kind of war mentality, and I do think there are dangers, and I think that Christian war we should not understand our ideas of what Christ and the apostles and the Christian tradition meant about making war. We should not conflate that with the American empire, doing whatever it wants.
Wouldn't that war be waged in and with and through love?
Yes.
No. I think
No, the question.
the important thing to remember is that this tweet was a request from a Gen Z fella aiming at a boomer. But the important thing being that it's Gen Z, and that the reason because if the Gen Z person is in a war right now, that war is probably on the battlefront of giving people rights to sterilize themselves.
Yes.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
And that's, if they're fighting any war at all, that's the only war they know they're in. Like, these kids are born in the fucking dugout. It's actually much like Mo was programmed to believe, is a lot more accurate now than I think it was when Mo was programmed to believe it. But
I think it was accurate then too. I was just scared.
Yeah. So how do you
And-
properly? That's what I was jumping in on.
how do you properly what?
The heart I guess I was making a comment. I'm sorry. I was just saying it was my opinion that you fight even the Gen Zers if you want to be effective and be that vigilant as even while doing the dishes. I think you can properly do it in and with and through love.
Well, let me chime in
God's
on this. So if you were to fight the gender war as a war, and YouTube, I'm saying this is a hypothetical. This is not me going out and recommending anybody to do anything bad. Please do not interpret it in that way. In fact, I'm recommending against doing any of the things I'm about to say. But if you saw it as an actual war, you could say go out and firebomb all of these reassignment surgery clinics. You could kill all of the doctors that are doing that kind of thing. And what you would do by doing that is you would galvanize everyone who was already involved in that and anyone who was even thinking of maybe supporting it, or even lots of neutral people, into going hard in that direction.
That already
Does it
happened
matter?
with the.
But there's
It's true though.
no there's something that I think I've reached a certain conclusion that I think is different than the status quo conclusion on these things, which is that, you know, people, let's say civil rights, for instance, people are under the impression, I think the status quo conclusion of civil rights is that if you get enough people together, organized in marching and demonstrations and doing these activities, that's what actually changes laws, and that's what changes public opinion. If you get enough people like marching and actively doing things. And I think what actually changes the public, or what changes perception or changes the heart, is a sufficient number of people and stories, but really a sufficient number of people suffering. I think it's the sufficient amount of suffering that does it. And so it because I now have that belief, it kind of flips that whole idea or story on its head, and that, so the more that I'm causing suffering to others, the more power I'm giving to that other side in relation to whatever it is.
Well, especially when that's explicitly what they're trying to do in a lot of cases. Your action is your target's reaction, right? Like
Yeah, but here's. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that that's explicitly strategy-wise, like rules for radicals type stuff, is you are trying to bait your opponent into overreacting against you and then using that as sympathy points for your cause.
Oh, I hear you, brother. I know all about rules for radical. Here's the thing. It's avoidable on your. It's unavoidable on your terms if that's the terms that they're willing to the terms of the rules of engagement they're willing to play by. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if how do I want to go about this? If they're 180 opposed to your way, then your existence is causing them suffering. Your very existence is causing them suffering. Then
But that's
Go
different than that's different than deliberately aiming to destroy your opponent.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right, that's fair enough. Well, I'm just trying to defend the stance of adopt a reasonable stance for warfare. That's what I was trying to defend. Okay, I get what you're saying.
I think the thing you have to do, the thing that you have to keep in mind is that I think one of the most powerful things that's been helping people to recognize what the heck's going on and wake up against it is if they've had narcissistic family members or people who had bipolar disorder, and basically recognizing those same patterns in the political movements that they are watching come into being. It's like the whole strategy of if you break up with me, I'm gonna kill myself. Like it's like a lot of children need gender affirming care or they're going to die. Is like that you are increasing the risk of them killing themselves, which isn't even statistically true, but that's the narrative that gets spun. And so what you have to do is you have to start like the only way I can see of fighting with love is to try to help people wake up to the reality that like, hey, these people are using abusive psychological manipulation tactics in order to try and garner your sympathy. You have to wake up to that.
Yes. Right. I think that's fair. But I think also what I think you could say is if there's either all right, they're doing 5th generational warfare, and I'm not willing to go to the psychological level, but I'm willing to acknowledge that they're in a warring state, or I want to just be in some kind of deluded denial, and I think one is obviously the proper answer. Now the way you go about that, you can be very, very tactful and understanding like it's a battle of hearts and minds. But I think the idea that you have to like go into it and pretend that it's not that the dynamics are not such that Jordan Hall can't get on Twitter and put PSA like, hey, look out, this thing is after you and your little ones. Like
I don't
know. I'm on that end. Go ahead.
There's kind of like a weird tangent that keeps coming up for me that I haven't been able to quite put into words, but I think after listening to you, Parlotta, I'm closer to it. And it's something like I see a potential problem with tribalism, like a reemergence of tribalism post kind of the republic, the liberal republic, which is
no, you don't say, Mo.
Wait, yeah.
Dude, no. This is a really good point. It is coming up, and we need.
I haven't even made the point yet.
I know you very well.
My tribe is ready. Familiar with this.
So here it is. You're basically deciding to make yourself a minority, and you want to be a minority so that you can have the moral high ground, and so that you can have more controllable in-group, out-group dynamics. But the problem is, you have to basically give up your your majority status in some way. But then the other thing is that you're less equipped to deal with Behemoth or Leviathan, in the sense that, like, I recently learned that you can run a comparison on maps of places where there was like quote unquote, my dog's going crazy, quote unquote, like Black Wall Streets, or like places where African American communities African American communities post Civil War, there were a few places where they were able to kind of create an intentional community, you could say, and those locations coincide almost one-to-one with places of so-called black massacres. So wherever there were these huge events where lots of black people were getting shot and killed, they just so happened to be these places where they had kind of carved out these communities where they could live
successful
free.
Communities.
Yeah, successful communities. So that's what that to me is what I think a lot of these we need to move to the mountains and get local. I think that there's, like, I don't even know if Bitcoin can save you from that kind of warfare.
Well, I think that part of that is that you just have to make it so that if the beast takes what it wants and gets what it gets, you just have to make sure that you aren't hoarding resources such that what it gets is actually valuable enough for it to go to the trouble of attacking you. That's my perspective on that.
What if it's just
There's run away and lay low.
No. Run away and have safe houses that the people who are in the fight can come back to.
But there's the angle that you're. Good morning,
sorry,
welcome
Marcus.
to the war.
We're involved, Marcus. If you want to come on, just let me know. And I don't know, did you already try and come on? Yes, he did. I'm coming. I'll let you in.
I definitely forgot that we were streaming on to YouTube, and I thought that I was just talking with all of you.
That's
just
why
chilling,
I
man.
stream Discord.
Forgot about Dre.
I mean, hopefully, my impulse to do something more intentional with my living situation, or like more in line with my like spiritual aspirations and stuff. You know, like hopefully it doesn't end in black massacres. You know,
Or white one.
Well,
that
yeah,
matter?
any type of massacre, I think we
Yeah,
can all say we would be against.
I don't know. There
Hopefully
could be a
all-
good one. You never know.
Hopefully, it brings us.
Capital
Sorry.
or corner.
Hopefully it brings us, I don't know, you know, of course it's very idealistic, and that's why I kind of joke about like super cult, intentional community, new communism. You know, it's all very much a joke, just as I kind of think the whole spaghetti thing is a joke on their part, but at the same time it does show that they have this lack of a rootedness in kind of the God-given nature of things, you know. And
Yes.
it's like I think yeah, even though I like to joke, I do think that something like this, you know, is timely. Like almost if tribalism is the negative manifestation of this, maybe there's also something like communalism, you know, a new communalism where people come together and there is differentiation where we each kind of find what is the law of the spirit as kind of fitting to our createdness or something, you know, like we
Nobody's even tried true tribalism yet.
you know, like and yeah, that even fits.
I have.
Tribalism hasn't been tried.
Wait. You got two Catholics in here. What are you talking about?
It reminds me, if I may,
Subsidiary?
it reminds me of I'm gonna say the you know Mr. Steiner, who Rudolf Steiner talks about like I don't know, really a lot of evolution of consciousness thinkers kind of consider how you could also talk about Barfield with original participation and final participation, you know, where we were embedded in community, but then the Christ event kind of gives us this personal relationship with the divine or something, and then
or something.
Yeah, something like that, and then to reintegrate into community. I don't know. I think hopefully I don't know. I don't have it all figured out, but something really speaks to me about people kind of living together, being involved with their local communities and such. You know.
Yeah, but I'm not going to talk to my neighbor. So now what?
Well, both my neighbors back in class were police officers. But not that I have anything against police officers. I was just a little nervous.
Well, considering your extracurriculars, that it makes sense.
Cop.
Here's a question. Here's a dumb question. Why is somebody as smart as Jordan Hall think that he can kind of escape the surveillance state?
I don't think he thinks he can.
Why would he think? What evidence do you have that he thinks he can?
Well, in some respects, I'm like, what are you running away from if not
I
that?
even shook his hand. You know, he can't really get away.
Yeah, I guess maybe the line of thinking I'm on is like, okay, this is a guy who's apparently, you know, talked to, you know, the wine, all of the dark, shadowy.
The DOD consults with him. According to his appearance on Benjamin Boys, the Department of Defense comes to him with questions.
Well, and in your conversation with him, Grim, he was like, oh yeah, there's, you know, Eric Weinstein or whatever was like, if you're Illuminati and you don't eat babies, talk to me. And he was like, yeah, or come talk to me. And somebody, you know, nobody came. And so I got the impression that Jordan spoke with authority, basically being like, yeah, they're sacrificing babies, essentially.
Yep.
And so I'm like, I'm operating under this assumption that like he knows way more of the details of what's going on. And his solutions as they were outlined in the tweet, something's not connecting for me, right? Like I'm like, so they're going to leave us alone if we do that?
No, they're not.
Oh, no.
But that's not really the point. So
I
It's
haven't
your
read the
best
tweet.
bet.
I haven't read the tweet. I've been doing things,
It says the most important thing in the tweet he repeats twice is like, without integrity, you're worthless.
Yep, that's pretty good one. Like Job.
I love.
But the point being that, hey, Gen Z, you were born into 5th generation warfare. It's for hearts and minds. And to do that with love is to win the hearts and minds of those doing the naughty thing.
Okay. Right.
And that's
With
why
Jordan-
running off into the woods doesn't work.
Okay.
Because you're in
All
a
right.
war, you're supposed to be winning hearts and minds.
It's interesting with the internet, though, how even from the the woods and such, you can still participate in the cultural evolution to some extent, and like imagine this community was not like a closed thing, or
Right.
I don't know.
I don't see why communes wouldn't work now that there's internet.
So here's what I'm pointing to is Jordan Hall came to this area for the same reason I did. He was running away. And so why does he think that he can now fight back in the place he ran away to?
Because now he has a
I
mod
I don't
to
think
then
he's fighting
go out
back.
into the Bailey from.
Well, you
I
could
don't think
also
he's
say-
fighting back. I think it's a rallying cry to get people to, because it's very hard to specify what you're for. You could say Christ, but it's an abstract concept. It's easier to say
so
what
is
you're
fifth
against.
generational warfare. I mean, like, how many people, when someone says 5th generational warfare, just like nod and say, okay, the evolution of warfare, something, and don't know it means shit like whittling the attention span of your population through TikTok.
Or weakening them through porn, or weakening them through any other number of things. Yeah.
Or like circumcising them the day before you're gonna go fight them.
Delta 9.
Delta 9, what's that one?
Or Delta
I don't know. I got the wrong number. I apologize.
Delta 8. Oh,
The jokes
all
work
right.
better when you say the right words.
Yeah. Would vaccinations also count as that, or quote unquote vaccinations? But
I would go with that.
don't know.
But see, the thing about war is you can see any negative out now and especially with 5th generational warfare, it's a training you to see everything as demoralizing, as a victorious act. Anytime something goes wrong, it's a victorious act of your enemy. It's like that can't be the way to live.
I think.
What do you mean anytime something goes wrong?
Well, I mean, I think you can see that if, let's say, I can't concentrate on my job because I'm addicted to TikTok, right? And so I lose my job, and I don't make any money. I can't support my family, and I can say, see, I should, this is 5th generational warfare. It's not my fault that
No,
I
it is
didn't
your fault because you didn't
put
fight
that
back.
yeah, I mean, that's what I would say too. But you can see where I'm going with it is that like. The
Yeah, but then you
warfare-
throw them back to like, you throw them back to 1st generational warfare. Be like, hey, you're the guy in the foxhole with his arm blown off, saying like, help, my arm's blown off. We're still in the fucking foxhole, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me. I wonder if he thinks that it's not only just kind of like he's trying to run away, or like kind of like I don't know. Part of it is I think being compelled by a vision of the good, and like what type of place would I want to live, and like and how
The good and the true and the beautiful is best seen at a fucking potluck with family and friends.
something like that, and also how maybe like in.
But this is why we need to understand what he meant by a wartime footing, though, right? Because a wartime footing is not I pick a beautiful community for my family to live in, and we have a nice, wholesome life where we go to the farmer's market on the weekends and then go to church on Sunday.
Yes.
But here's the thing also is that maybe like there's a clip on my channel of Jordan Hall titled Rage, where he talks about channeling this rage for a higher good, and like there's a way in which setting an example and talking about it on the internet is kind of him fighting back, but it's kind of like an art of war, like, you know, not really attacking by force. You know, it's like, I don't know, I can admire what he's doing to some extent. You know, he's like, it was
Yeah,
inspiring
but that
to me,
doesn't
and it's like,
explain what Mo
wait.
wants to explain.
Well, McMo, what would you consider a wartime footing?
I don't know. I don't know what he meant by that.
Do you want me to give you my best guess?
I mean, you've been to war, Af. You're the soldier.
I have not been to war, but I have done soldiering stuff before, and I've thought quite a bit about the potential of us going to war with North Korea at one point. The thing I would say is that if you are on a wartime footing as opposed to a peacetime footing, you need to be on your guard at all times because the enemy is going to strike when you are least expecting it. And so you need to be awake. You need to be aware. That's what that means. Like, if you're in garrison, you don't have to worry so much about somebody coming up in the middle of the night and mortaring your barracks area. If you're on a wartime footing, that shit could come at any point in time, and you need to have your rifle right next to you on green, but with a mag ready to go.
So is it the calm before the war?
What we're in right now, I would say we're already in the war. It's just that it's fifth generational. It's not.
Okay, so yeah, no, I'm sorry. It's the calm before the mortar attack. That's what I meant.
No,
we're like the diligence or vigilance, like they kind of like attentiveness, like to pay attention to, or you know.
I think the
I would say that.
Whoa. The best visualization I have for being on a wartime footing is like you're a group of soldiers in Vietnam and there's a kid running up to you.
Yeah, no, like, you gotta fucking move.
Okay.
Like you don't know
All
if
right.
that kid's not just grenades or whatnot. It's still a kid, like it's happening. It's now. You know, that's
The way I would say, Ron, the way I would say is the regime overextended itself and took a serious blow, but the people that gave it the blow are incoherent and uncoordinated and ungrounded. So there's no hope. There's no hope in the resistance against the regime. That's what I would say is going on right now. So that what you feel right now is the gasp of air as the very decrepit and inflexible regime, you know, is like discombobulated because they can't believe they just took a blow. They just can't believe the wind is out of their lungs. That's what you feel right now.
No, and I hate to be overly optimistic, but I have to. That's what I do. Is there a white pill scenario in any of this?
Is it bad that my white pill?
Jesus.
No, yeah, I'll do that. I will do that. But I'll ask Grim, like, and I will talk about miracles or an unforeseen positive event, because I've seen enough.
Like
I'm sorry?
Like the proliferation of estuary, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Or like personal relating. People
Okay.
talking
Yeah.
as persons rather than as like representatives of ideologies and such. Like you know. No, I think that's kind of, I can see that, like kind of that's kind of how I conceptualize the second coming of Jesus, of the Christ. It's like the faith logos, the people incarnating the purpose of reality, which is like love or something. You know, will then like could suddenly just happen. It's kind of like the Jesus movement or whatever, but maybe a little bit more. You know, like people actually doing the thing, even if it doesn't come with jargon. You know?
Okay, so the rage against the machine would be getting to know your neighbors.
Yeah.
It's kind of. Okay.
I don't know.
I like it.
You know, get food with your friends and such.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Just some thoughts. I don't know.
No, I like it because everyone can black pill, but I've been around the block enough to know that sometimes, and I'm really not trying to be overly optimistic. Sometimes good things happen.
Look, if you have a certain vision and standard from which you can perceive and imagine, and thus discern governance, as goes, hypothetical and as goes today, I don't see how it's not that irrational or that crazy to be pretty black pilled as goes what we actually have today. If you can do that, if you have a very impoverished or some certain okay, that's true, but as far as my tradition goes, they can paint a very, very beautiful picture of what good governance can look like, at least hypothetically, and there's some historical bona fides behind it too. But that can all be parsed out and argued. But yeah, so I think with that being said, then yeah, in relation to what we've got going on today, no, I'm okay. Call me black-pilled, whatever. I'm allowed to scorn whatever you want to call this as leadership and governance.
Yeah, I
pseudo-leadership,
think
pseudo-government.
I think one can rightfully and honestly say that it's pretty bad right now, and yet there's been very much worse times and places in history. Like that seems to be like an obvious, like everybody would agree with that. But it's important to kind of note, I don't think the U.S. government or the empire as we know it is the place to look for white pills. I don't think, unfortunately, fellas, I don't think the Catholic Church has been doling out the white pills.
Nope.
The American Pope is one. I'll give one to the American Pope. Shouts out to our Chicago boy. But yeah, if you want to go back at certain times in history, it's kind of the same thing. Like, yeah, of course, the Catholic Church got it right a couple times. Not gonna hold you on that.
A couple of times. Don't get ahead of yourselves.
Okay, I want to make an argument that hope is our strongest weapon.
Mm-hmm.
That the one universal right now is a seeming lack of hope. And I'm guilty of this too. Economics is the dismal science, and I'm taught to read our progress through an economic lens or a technological lens, and I'm reading all those tea leaves as those things are coming to an end. But that should be a reason for hope as a Christian, I would say.
Since we're still spitting on the Jordan Hall tweet, let's point out the hope he put in Ed, which is that you'll be the strong men that make good time.
Yep.
Similarly with Ron, I think it's our job as people with penises to eat the black pill and keep everything about it from the ladies and the children.
Yep.
And like to take
It reminds me
like hope and gallows humor.
the
I
distinction
think are
between
the we need.
the distinction between
Gotcha.
black and white, of course, very deep, and also an analog goes with the crucifixion and the transfiguration / the resurrection. So it's like you do have to kind of bite the bullet, as it were, before be like, yes, these are hard times, and then I don't know, that kind of opens the way for what good things might.
But at least my ass isn't on fire.
What good things might we aim at? I don't know, just some symbolism, some color symbolism or something. I don't know, but anyway. Also, I was gonna say, there's something about where that judgment of Christ, of like imagining a white pill situation where the sword of truth is coming from the mouth, and like
You mean where the Lord and Savior descends from the clouds on the white horse?
something like that. Virile white horse energy, and yeah, and so like something about the judgment of that is to set an example. It's like how Peterson talked, where the ideal is always the judge. So it's like if someone's doing the good thing, like isn't doing the body of Christ thing, then like they're kind of fighting the system insofar as they are judging it, and the people who are parts of that system are like, oh fuck, I am judged, and this is, so
There ain't nothing like a walking conviction.
yeah. So I don't know. I think that's where I like to try and keep. There's something about like keep your mind in hell, but your mind also in heaven or something, right? It's like you got to remember the darkness that's going on, but also it's like to be compelled by the beauty of and to try and live that out in your actions, and then that is fighting the trend. I don't know. I'm hopeful in that regard.
I have something. Okay, so I went to this worship gig just tonight. At the end of it, I met a couple from Venezuela, and they left They left right before the dictatorship kicked in. And I asked them, do you see America going down like Venezuela? And they said no. And I'm like, well, really? They go, yeah, you got some people talking extremely on both sides. But they said it wasn't the same. They said it was better. They had hope that, yeah, it was interesting. They said
Toilets
because
keep
we have,
working, we'll be all right.
I'm sorry?
As long as the toilets keep working, we'll be all right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just interesting we're having this conversation, and I talked with them moments before I got on with you guys, and I was talking about stuff like this, and you know, they were older people too, and they didn't seem to be as concerned as we are, but
We've
I'm not
been
saying
watching the decline in real time. They just came over from Venezuela not long ago. They have the American dream version of America. They haven't seen what we've seen.
Right.
I don't know about that. I think that there is actually a lot more hope. I think that the people who are
The air is
are yeah. Go ahead, Mo.
the air is different. The air is different this high up on the Tower of Babel.
Air's different.
Maybe.
And those Appalachian foothills.
Right.
Well,
Paddle
this is-
faster.
There's something to that, Ron. Like I think a lot about the ways in which like my grandparents when I was young before they passed away, they didn't seem too concerned about the like current culture, whatever was going on in the culture war. Right? Like they at least in terms of a grandson's relation to a grandparent, they seemed plumb happy with their lives and the state of the world. Now, the question for me is that because it was the 90s and early 2000s and that's just what everything seemed like? Or is that because old people are kind of relaxed and have some wisdom, and wisdom with years actually brings a type of peace? And then you have like my parents, who I remember being very stressed out about things like Bill Clinton and the war in Iraq and, you know, the war on terror, and listening to Rush Limbaugh, and every day is this, you know, what have the the liberals done this time?
Right.
You know, and so like the question for me is I suppose like I don't know. I honestly I don't know how well I'm able to kind of take myself out of my historic time and place and be able to say, is it really this bad? Is it really? And also I don't know what I would be comparing it to. You know, should I compare it to some other time in history where it seemed to be going well, or should I compare it to my ideas of utopia? You know, so these are very difficult questions.
I would just say that's a radical skepticism of the intellectual nature that you are. That you can look into history and derive and become more knowledgeable and more suited to the context that life presents.
Yes, you can pick up variable skills that make you more adaptable, even in a novel context.
Skills and tools.
I guess I would say to try and meet Mo in the middle. I would say I would want to be very, very careful of like a position of nowhere. Like obviously, I think that's a very modernist bad move. But I think you also don't want to denigrate or imply denigration of that faculty of that good aspect, positive aspect of human nature.
Yeah, I think you're accusing me of more skeptical realism than I'm actually trying to talk about. It's because you know me. But what I was really trying to point to was the question of the difference in generations. Like Ron said, he talked to some older folks, and they seem like all of this is just like run of the mill. Either it's run of the mill, it's happened a million times, it'll happen again, or doesn't seem to bother them that much, or you know, for whatever reason. And I'm trying to decipher whether that is due to their being older and wiser, or due to their having been adults through the golden age of the American Empire.
Well,
I think we're in a 500-year event. So, this is one way to think about it. Actuarially, so we always talk about the post-World War II consensus. So that's like a 1 in 100-year event. Would be the World War II consensus, right? Because it's been about 100 years, and there was probably about a 100-year consensus before that, maybe less. But I think we're in the midst of a 500-year event.
Can you? I'm thinking 2000. I'm talking Age of Aquarius, y'all.
All right, I can smoke me some weed, but what does Neil mean? Neil, what do you mean, please?
I think the internet has been as transformational as the printing press.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, the printing press is really what started the modern age because it democratized the receipt of information, but you still had centralized authority over the dissemination of information, but not entirely centralized. Whereas the internet has made it like you have the receivers of the information and the producers of the information are now on equal footing.
They've taken the means of production.
Production of memes? The memes of production?
Production.
The memes of production.
Well, we're sorting, to go back to the tribalism, we're sorting into affinity groups, not based on kin, but based on, let's say, interest, desire, whatever you want to call it. And that goes from OnlyFans all the way down to like, oh, I'm a more maxing bro, so I'm an Orthodox Christian. You know, it's everything. Like that's how we're sorting. If you're wooish, you got branches of Christianity for that too. It's not based on your parental lineage.
Funny, she doesn't look wooish.
Oh,
exactly.
I was wait. Oh, you beat me. Sorry.
Yeah. Now, I'm confident it's at least a 500-year event. It's possible it's a 10,000-year event. Okay, so what a 10,000-year event looks like is the men and women best equipped to survive and thrive in a hunter-gatherer society are no longer the men and women best equipped to thrive and survive in an agricultural society. Those are very different operating systems for how to run a society. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go full black pill. I am way more skeptical of some sort of cycle that takes place in a round number of base 10 than I am that the Catholic Church might have the answers to our problems right now.
Not exactly.
Yeah,
it's probably a prime number that's approximately.
No, I'm saying I'm defining these events in how people go about living their lives, like the transformations and what are required in how to, let's say, live in order to continue forward into the next generation. And yeah. No. Go ahead, Jonathan. Yeah.
Well, it seems to me that the selection pressure being applied to the populace at this time is susceptibility to mind control to the extent that you'll end your gene line and/or reproductive capacities.
Yeah, true.
Man, I wish I had my branding so bad.
Mind control.
And the brand played on.
Yeah, I play my have less children branding, which is so funny. It's like from the 70s. It's a real commercial that they ran where this guy in a suit says, for the sake of the environment, consider having less children. And he says, only have 2 or 3. And I'm like, that is literally like encouragement now. It's cheerleading to have more babies. The ad in the 70s telling our parents and the grandparents to have only 2 or 3. Like, look what they're trying to do. It's crazy.
How successful the Slow It Down campaign was.
Maybe a little too successful. Seems the cattle listened a little bit too well.
We got robots, it's fine.
Except the robots don't actually work in the way we thought they would, so...
Nietzsche calls us cattle. Nietzsche calls us cattle. Jesus calls us sheep. I almost said Kierkegaard calls us sheep, but Kierkegaard calls us sheep because Jesus calls us sheep. So sheep is the better metaphor. That doesn't matter at all. But with that, I'm gonna have to sign out. I'm getting way too sleepy to put together coherent thoughts. I'm afraid I'm gonna blaspheme here shortly. So, or go the opposite way and start preaching the gospel to all of you heathens.
Heretics. Actually, no, heathens. Heathens is more accurate.
Thanks for being such a gracious host, Af. I feel like I kind of started the like stream bomb of just all of the grimiest of the TLC. So I appreciate you creating a space for us. This has been fun.
I like a little Graham. You're very welcome, and you're welcome to come back again next week if you want to, or to step over it. I'm good either way. I appreciated the background beats.
Mark Parker needs to get his butt into. Wait. Mark Parker needs to get his butt into Discord. Take McMo's place. And Mark Parker is not in Discord, and that is a travesty, ladies and gentlemen. Ron Copperman needs to drag him in.
He's on my server.
Mo, you gonna stream tomorrow?
Right? Yeah, he's on my server.
Yeah, that's the plan, Grim. Still stream.
About 11-ish? Or...
Yeah. Probably, yeah. Since I'm saying it, I'll just shoot for 11.
All right, fabulous. All right. Have a good night, guys.
Night, Chris.
Man, the 3 of them left.
Oh, dude.
So you gotta take your out when you got your out.
I know. I got
all night.
I got. It's 11 o'clock. Oh, it's 11. It's 11:12. I missed 11:11. But it's late for me too. I gotta bounce. Otherwise, I'm gonna be a zombie. This has been outrageous fun, and be blessed. It's mandatory. Give your heart to, or you're gonna burn in hell. Ah!
God bless Rod.
I know. All right. Good night, guys. This has been fun.
Good night, Ron.
Take care.
I'm gonna stick around, F.
Okay.
Unless you're gonna shut it down.
Not yet. I
I'll
still
stick
got a little
around.
bit more to do, so just gonna finish this up at least.
We got to get the late night crew. Where's the Foxman and where's the?
Probably out doing things in real life since he has a wife and a life.
I could speak his name three times.
No, what
President
would be
Foxman.
Death Stranding. Death
President
Stranding.
Foxman.
Death Stranding.
I summon you from your fox burrow. Emerge.
Your Foxborough.
Awaken. I remember in college, my metalhead friends were obsessed with this show called Metalocalypse.
Oh my gosh.
And
I haven't watched it, but I'm familiar.
They would, whenever they would summon the powers of be that would destroy evil, they just play like a killer riff and go, "Awaken, awaken, awaken." Maybe.
You heard
all
of
these
Foxman.
ridiculous
Awaken.
shows. Yeah. That also makes me think of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. There's this one episode where they have this witch doctor who's the whole episode he's trying to summon this chicken, and he's like planting his staff in the ground and saying, "All right." It's so stupid. Like I can look at someone like Aqua Teen Hunger Force and it's like, no wonder we are where we are right now. Have you ever seen Aqua Teen?
I know of it, but I have never watched it. I tried to, and it was just like, I don't know if I just didn't understand the humor or like you have to kind of be initiated into it, but it was just like, I don't know what the heck this is.
I bet Grim is a fan. Aqua Teen. It strikes me as his brand of humor.
Mike Tyson's Mysteries. That was one that I've enjoyed.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's so good.
Tyson's Mysteries.
Yes, it's basically like Scooby-Doo, but Mike Tyson as himself, and then Norm Macdonald as a pigeon, or a guy that got turned into a pigeon, more specifically. It is very inappropriate and freaking hilarious. Like, oh my goodness. Especially because like Norm Macdonald as pigeon is constantly making like rude, lewd remarks, and Mike Tyson just does not acknowledge any of it. Like continues
Just
like
go right over his head.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's supposed to, like you can't tell. Is it
I
going
do
over his
that-
head or?
I do that with Chad often. Like he'll call me and he'll be in like a ranty, not a ranty, but he'll be like very focused on some topic, whatever it is. And I know he's got at least like 5 to 10 minutes of runway on that topic. So I'll just like slip in snarky, stupid remarks throughout his.
Because you know he's not going to stop. Oh
Correct.
man.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut
I'm
in
a-
here, but
Oh, hey, Slasher.
I literally
Hey, Dasher.
had exactly the same immediate afterthought when you started doing the Metalocalypse thing. I was like, oh yeah, and that reminds me of Arise Chicken.
Yes, Arise chicken, Arise
chicken.
So, and then the oh man,
Arise.
that clip is so hilarious.
Arise.
So it's the whole episode. They have this witch doctor
It's a whole
trying
episode.
to,
Like he'll make
trying
them
to
do stupid
summon.
things like, I am. Like repeat after me. I am so fucking. They do summon the chicken at the end, so.
No, wait,
I mean,
you don't have. You can't spoil. What happens with the chicken.
Yes, I can't spoil 2 whole seconds of the episode. Which I think is only 15 minutes anyway, because they're not long. I don't think they're whole
it's
half.
the climax of a ridiculous 15-minute episode. That's correct.
It's just, yes, I did watch Metalocalypse, and I remember that. But yes, immediately after that,
Awaken. They always summon the Kraken.
I was immediately going, oh yeah, that's Arise Chicken, and then you go straight to that point. It's just, love it.
Have you guys ever watched Venture Bros?
No.
Oh, that's another good one. Think like
I have a feeling after you're like 5 years behind me, so or
Probably.
maybe a little bit more, but
I
it's
also
like the
didn't
next
really-
generation.
All of these things were on the air at the same time.
Yeah, I bet Dashing, you're my age. I bet you're about 39.
Give me minus 4 years and you're good.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was just old watching Aqua Teen.
Well, I also wasn't watching
I
those
was
when they
the
were airing.
target audience
so.
for that shit.
The target audience. You know, I watched most of that like well after it was finished airing. Like friends told me, "Oh my gosh, this is so amazing," and just went and found it online.
Yeah, that was a weird time to be watching television.
Ooh.
Park marker.
In the house. How goes it, sir?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep. You're coming in now. Oh.
Interesting conversation. Not hearing me?
Yep.
Yeah, we're 20 or 30 years behind you in the references that we're doing. But if you look up Arise Chicken on YouTube, you will get the clips. You will find it. Build it and they will come. Yeah, there's a clip titled Arise Chicken Summoned Mega Ultra Chicken. That is the correct clip. Anyway,
Well,
what's on your mind, Mark? Because the things that we were talking about earlier were more substantive. The 500 year event, 10,000 year event.
I'm just here for the BSing, you know.
I'm on a treadmill at a 24-hour fitness, so I can't really address the subject we were talking about without
Oh, I see. Yeah.
frightening the civilians. Just kidding.
When you're out in public, but you're adoring fans.
Gotta pretend to be a normie, right?
Bro, this guy's kicking my butt.
There was a comment that Rod Hare made on Friday and I said clip it, and then I did clip it. So let me see if I can find it in my clips. I want to mention this comment. Oh goodness, where are my clips? Your clips. I'm gonna play it. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. Let's see.
Oh, if you're.
Oh, wait. I gotta turn off. No, I'm gonna play it through my microphone.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on. All right. Hopefully you'll be able to hear this. So I'm pushing the volume to the max. Okay. Hold on. Okay, you ready? Here we go.
You know, my intuition tells me that we're in some kind of kairotic moment and that we're pivoting to something. And the degree to which I continue to participate here is my sense that this is the kind of body that might actually participate in this, right? Where we're starting to tell stories that make us once again optimistic about the future. And, you know, my intuition tells me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was.
What struck you, Neil, about that?
To once again be optimistic. Two things. Just Rod's intuition. Not so much the stories, but that we're. To once again be optimistic about the future. That this is a place that's.
Might be getting undercut by these.
I killed them.
noises
We're
in the
good.
background.
We're good.
There we go. Yeah. It was just ever so slightly distracting. Sorry.
Please go ahead.
Continue.
You're saying about
No, just that intuition that not knowing why, not knowing how, not knowing where, not knowing when, but that whatever we're doing here,
Well, I think
I don't know.
it's-
I am optimistic. Yeah.
Well, we're trying to create the sort of upstream, like, it's the whole what's upstream and what's downstream of what. And I think that the thing that is most upstream of everything else is what stories are being told that are modifying people's availability heuristics of what is normal or to be expected over the course of a human life. And so if you can not even necessarily control what stories get published, but if you can at the very least like make the right kinds of stories, and then the people who want and need to find them are going to be more likely to find them, especially with the way that the internet has interconnected everyone and the way that you have algorithms trying to serve up content that will keep people on their platform. And so if you are able to speak to people in that kind of way, you will, I think, find more success than historically we would be able to if you write it, if you make the video, they will come. Like, not guaranteed, but way more likely than if you were to write a story, send it to a publishing competition, and they published it as like one of 5 in their very low viewership magazine. Like, the discoverability aspect of Algo is huge as far as its positive upside. But that's kind of, at least that's where I'm coming from. That's my thought process.
What
But
makes you think?
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. What makes you think that the algorithm is going to? It's already losing its power. People are really aware of its. I mean, the up and coming generation, younger than Z, right? Alpha.
Alpha. Yep.
They're already rejecting it in large numbers. Maybe not majority yet. Maybe that'll have to wait for beta. But when you think of like the power of certain, I don't know, memes or ideas, like Napoleon was the greatest general of all time. That lasted for 100 years, basically until World War One, right? Everyone tried to fight, tried to emulate, be like Napoleon. Then World War One kind of said, Well, that doesn't work anymore, and they have to come up with something new. The life cycle of ideas is shortening as technology expands faster and faster. So the algo could easily be a dead force in the universe within 30 years of its inception. And which means we're like 2/3 of the way there, assuming, say, it started with the birth of Facebook.
Well, you have
ago.
to think, yeah, you have to think about what the purpose of technology is, generally speaking. We have to, when I say we have to, it's inevitable that humanity reaches a sustainable equilibrium with technology over the course of generations. It's inevitable that occurs. How it occurs and how long it takes is a huge question mark, but it's inevitable that the relationship between humanity and technology reaches some sort of stability where now the question is, does it look like the Amish? I don't think so. There and the algo, so if you think about like what the purpose of technology is, it's our survival. You could go survival, wisdom, social, or heart, but all of those. No, seriously, like I think there's something to those four. We're better at navigating. So if you think about it strictly through a survival lens, we're better at navigating an environment that's threatening in many ways, shapes, or forms, or we're better at doing that if we're well advised regarding what those threats are and how to avoid them and how to prepare, so that you could say avoidance of the things that are not good, that are threats. That's part of technology, but then you could say, okay, so what if we're very good at avoiding the threats? So we're good at seatbelts and not going outside too much, and all the things like flying instead of driving because that's safer. We're very good at avoiding threats. What's the upside to technology? Like what does it allow us to do more of? And that's right now where we are being sifted like wheat. That's I think nearly universally there's pretty good consensus on threat reduction and damage reduction from technology. Everything from antiseptics to air conditioning to airbags to like all that is great. Now around the edges, where it's like, this might save a few more people, or if we do this or do that, there's trade-offs. There's a lot of trade-offs, and more we seem to be entering this zone of trade-offs versus like clear-cut solutions. We could do this, but then it creates this new problem. That's what I mean by trade-offs. So, like we could create the world's greatest behavioral health online service, but then what?
Use code Afriel for your new BetterHelp subscription.
Correct. Exactly. So
don't you love all this apocalyptic podcasting that has nightmare, the latest nightmare scenario to be discussed for this hour or 2 hours on the podcast, and intermixed between it, usually, I don't know, they have the little opening, then they go right into an ad or something, and then halfway through it, two more
dystopian.
ads.
So dystopian.
The end of the world brought to you by X or Y, whatever it is. It used to be Squarespace was the hot advertiser. Now it's I don't know. But it's because I just tune out, so I can't even remember who advertises. I'm always amused by the fact that the underworld is being brought to us by a major corporate sponsor, which makes me think that they're lying to me. Yeah, I mean, what they're talking about may be real in some sense, but it's not nearly as catastrophic or dramatic as they set it out to be.
Not if they're
That's
going to be continuing to believe that advertising is worthwhile, right?
Right. Oh yeah, yeah. They can't be so doomer that they kill off the advertiser, right? They lose their incentive. It's got to be just enough to bring eyeballs, but not enough to really kill us all off, right?
Fear sells.
Which means we're all BS, right? I mean, there was a great article I saw on what I thought was a dead magazine or media, but it was Vice, and at least they got a print thing going. Somebody bought it out and has a print something, or not print but digital website. Anyways, the article was about Gen Z women are flooding to convent systems instead of beach houses, and which is really wild considering if you know the history of Vice. They certainly aren't biased towards Catholicism.
No.
So somebody's reporting on that, which I assume they found enough Gen Z women doing this to make it newsworthy, and that's kind of an interesting turn of events. Just a thought.
Yeah, especially with Vice, like they like the lascivious things. They like the
Yeah, this is. I mean, a Gen Z girls going to convent instead of the beach houses and parties in Miami or something. It's a pretty anti the brand as you can get.
What change in behavior are they trying to inspire by reporting on that too? Because that's one thing that is, I think, a very underestimated portion of journalism is that they are always writing to try and change behavior. That's the whole point of putting words out into the world, is that you are trying to change something, some aspect of someone's behavior. So what is it that they're trying to achieve by reporting on the fact that there's young women joining convents?
Or it's so novel as to be
at least remarkable.
Shocking.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll take that over the New York Times lifestyle section writing on polyamory, which they did at length in a really tedious,
It's normal,
uninteresting
Mark.
way.
Why are you making such a big deal about it?
Don't be such a prude.
Yeah.
Marty,
it's,
anybody who's anybody drinks. Don't be such a square. No, that's
it was
Back
more-
to the Future.
I'm afraid that's the story that I read in the New York Times and that was far grosser. Bordered on rationalizing grooming.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, goody.
Grooming. Yeah. And it was telling the story of one of the perspectives given was that of a young woman in the midst of financially powerful older couples being passed around to. So that's what I mean by driven. And gross. So I'll take the Vice article about convents any day over that. Which is hope. I mean, that's how I see it. I mean, it's just a little glimmer.
I don't see it that way.
Novel enough to be well. Okay, how would you interpret it?
My
Other
interpretation.
than that, you think what would they be directing us towards if you think we're being manipulated?
Hey, young women, you don't want to do the normal young woman thing of not having babies? Here's this other young woman thing of that you can live your life and not have babies.
Oh, but if you've ever been around nuns, they're typically very pro-family. I would think that you'd go I mean, you get a chance to see if it's not like they're recruiting in any great numbers. They're losing numbers. Neil would know more about that. But
Yeah,
think
I
the
want
priest
to. I want to address what you said, Af, because it's about a lack of. I realize the cause. I actually know the. I think I know the root cause, and it's, let's say, a lack of faith in the future. And what I mean by that is, like, what is the percentage of children who genuinely believe? And remember, this is mostly about perception rather than reality. But it's the percentage of children who believe that they'll have it as good or better than their parents.
Yep.
And it's better according to their own perception.
Yep.
And so if you think of like the greatest sacrifices in life, there has to be a sufficient amount of faith, a sufficient reason to make that sacrifice, a sufficient, it really is a leap of faith. But I talked about consciousness earlier. I think before, where that faith was more implicit, it was just more like, oh yeah, the world's doing well and getting better all the time. It's not implicit anymore. It's not automatic that things. Or let me put it this way: whether or not the world is going to be better in the near term is no longer a driving factor, or there's an insufficient reason for bringing more life into the world. So now it requires something deeper, something that's almost like.
And you're saying that because it is very clearly not going to be better in the near future, and so you have to have a different justification. Is that what you're getting at?
I don't think. No, it's not very clearly, but there's. Like we talked about, just what I said, the universal thing was, and it's not even clear to me why this is, but the universal thing is sort of like a lack of hope. I have some reasons why I think that's the case, but that's sort of the universal. Like there's a reason that the culture went postmodern, and that reason is because there's not a clear hopeful path forward. Like, is it to Mars? But like, why? Like, why are we alive? Why are we American? Like, what's the purpose? What's the point? What's the goal? What's the, like, if we have everything we want and we're still unhappy, or if we have everything that, like, let's say a baseline level of comfort, like we have air conditioning, we have a place to live, and we have, endless entertainment, like endless, like more entertainment than we could ever be, and endless food choices, more than like anyone 100 years ago could even dream of. We have all that, and then we're still
less than
unhappy, or we're,
that was something that my mom made a comment to me, was like her growing up, like they did a lot of canning and a lot of other stuff to, like, you didn't have fresh fruits and vegetables all year round like we do at the grocery store now. Like that just wasn't a thing.
Even in my lifetime, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the vegetables that you had that weren't in season were crap. I mean, it was horrible. It's a joke about 70s cooking. Bland. You cooked a green bean and took it in. The quality is. The funny thing is we have all this choice, but how often do you go on to your streaming services and say there's just nothing interesting to watch? So I'm over here on YouTube.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like, what is it that you want to watch? Like, if you have unlimited choice, then the question doesn't become. There's a bigger question of what do you want, because if there's only 3 channels for you to watch, it's like, which of these 3 do I want to watch, or do I want to watch nothing at all? If you have literally infinite things, then there's, I don't know.
Well, I think Pajot is right in talking about how all art is meaningless or devoid unless it's attached to a telos, to a purpose.
Yes.
Like a story resonates with you, like a Netflix show or this show or that show. Like I just watched Field of Dreams, and I was like, why did I watch this? And then I finally get to the last scene where he's playing catch with his son, and then I was almost at the point of tears. And yeah, there has to be something in a story that like really resonates in order for it to be meaning it has to touch our, and it can be an individual reality, but it has to touch our truth, our reality in some way, shape, or form.
Could we go back really quick to what Af was saying about the possible story about what they're trying to tell us with the going to a convent instead of a beach party or something. Regarding procreation or the population bomb, right? And all that. We've had population bombs in the past. I think what Barden and has talked a lot about. The next how many babies had to be born per woman just to keep the population stable because so many died. And I was as late as the early 1800s. In 1801, in the early America, on the frontier, child mortality was 50%, or very, very close to it. So people just had to have a lot, right?
Yep.
We don't have that problem. There's a willingness issue, right?
Yep.
Well, it's only to avoid the collapse. You just need to. Those people who are good at having babies, who enjoy having babies, probably just need the material and moral support of the society. So that, say, only 1/3 of people have babies, 1/3 of couples. Well, they could easily produce 6 or 7 to make up for the 2/3 who don't. And if the society was committed to supporting them, they could do it and not collapse under the financial and emotional burden of it all. And with the right social services, you could actually, and I would say those numbers are about right. It seems like I see a lot of people these days doing 3 or more, as often as just 1. In fact, I'd say, I don't know, I'm wondering, I've never looked at a statistic, but it seems like most people who have 1 go on to 2, and they put the brakes on it usually because of financial reasons. But that's all anecdotal. I don't have anything about it. What do you think about that?
I think it's just they hit an equilibrium. Let's say they hit a level of challenge relative to desire, where once the challenge exceeds the desire, then they're at that equilibrium point.
But most are like Paul. He talks about he stopped at 5 and wished he kept going, right? And the only one who's putting on the brakes is the one who has to carry him, right? For good reason.
Yeah,
that's
well,
a lot of kids to have.
Well, that's what I mean by the equilibrium point. It's the desire is I think an imaginal one. I like it. It's a face. And I'm not saying it's not real. I'm saying it's faith based because it's like the entire life in the entire line of that person, and believing it's worthwhile and see, like being able to envision and see that and being able to make that sacrifice because knowing it's going to be a sacrifice and doing it eyes wide open. And that's the difference now too. It's eyes wide open. Now when times are good, it's less of a sacrifice, but you also got to think about it in terms of all the other time and attention that could be focused on the myriad of other options, the myriad of what could take your time and attention. So that's also it's also a matter of trade-offs. Yeah. But I do think at base it's a faith-based issue, because I think deep down
It takes a
deep down
lot of faith to have kids, and
deep down it's understood that
every
it's like
kid, every kid is a
deep down it's understood that every person's sort of a little infinity, and so there's nothing to compete with that in terms of meaning and value. But it's a leap of faith because it's really hard to create an infinity.
well, lots can go wrong, right? I mean, as a person who's had one kid who had a lot of surgical issues and stuff, a lot can go wrong, you know, and so
that's it too.
Every birth presents its own little terror, right? I mean, and it's an opportunity to have your heart broken. And people in the 19th century, 18th century were extremely neurotic for that reason. I mean, as soon as they could, they doped themselves up on laudanum. Alcoholism was rampant because it was a stressful life. It was a hard life. I mean, imagine losing half of your kids or more, you know, to some disease before they're 5, when they're the most adorable, you know, before they have a chance to really disappoint you. Just kidding. But that's how it, you know, it's in some ways it's like it's an emotion. It is a leap of faith. I think you're totally right. Having kids is a huge leap of faith. Falling in love is a huge leap of faith. I wish that would have been talked about more in the clips interview that Nate and Paul Renee did. You know, I don't know.
No, I think that's right. And this is going to be kind of a dark thought, but I don't know if decreasing child mortality is the unequivocal good that it's made out to be, because the reality is that if you take that away, there's no genetic selective mechanism to make sure that humanity's genes don't have issues, and as a consequence you're going to have more, the future generations are going to be more sickly people, just by the nature of the fact that their genes didn't get selected out for. And I don't know what to do or think about that, because child mortality is a horrible thing and we shouldn't want kids to die, but
there's two reasons why I think that's incorrect.
Okay.
Why I think it's incorrect.
Okay.
One is that you're assuming the same level of child mortality now into the future, whereas if we hit a point where our current healthcare is not, we no longer have access to the antiseptics, and we no longer have access to, now that's like a somewhat of a doomsday scenario, but like if COVID was more like the Black Plague, where it was killing half of a city or 2/3, I have no idea what the world would look like today. I have no idea. Like, I haven't a clue. So there's that, but then I've talked about this before, but it's like the factors that made us who we were based on survival externally, let's say, like external pressures that were put. And when I say external, yes, they were environmental, but also sociocultural external factors kind of made us who we were, and limited our choices for better or for worse. And so you could say those were the selection pressures that were externally imposed. But now the selection pressures are internally driven. Meaning it's...
How much of those internally driven selection criteria are being externally influenced, though?
Oh, in terms of to the next generation?
In terms of mind control, like... How much of those individuals' choices is actually their choice to make? That's what I'm trying to ask.
I don't know. I don't know. I think people who are deeply faithful people are going to do just fine. That's what I think. So I think there is a lot of... Remember, Embody, there actually is a lot of agency. I really think so.
Okay. I can get down with that.
For the people who put themselves into containers of deep faith, and we are seeing that. It's like all the I shouldn't say all, but the Latin Mass churches for Catholicism are filled with young families, like absolutely filled. That's where the crying babies are at Mass. So, and the reason that they're doing that is I think they sense a container that's able to preserve that faith down to the next generation. I don't know if it really will be that container. You know, I have my doubts about that, but they sense it. So, yeah.
Neil, out of curiosity, I may have asked this before. Have you ever visited St. Joseph's up at Shreveport?
No.
Okay, because I was a crying baby in the... They have like a dedicated crying room for young mothers and their children at that church. So.
Oh. Yeah. A lot of the more modern churches have cry rooms, including my own. Not to avoid disturbing the adults.
While allowing the mothers and their babies to participate still. Yeah.
Well, so the more conservative churches disdain the idea of the cry room.
Why?
Because
you should have
babies are not separated from our family. Like they're all we're all together. Yeah.
No, but you don't. If you are a mother with a crying child, you're not going to just sit there and make everybody else endure it. Like it's not something that's any mother I think would want to do to the people around her.
But the people
the people who most care about crying babies are usually the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is like, I mean, unless you're an emotionally disturbed person, you don't care. You think it's cool. It's like no big deal. You always want to just try to help them, if anything. But just the reason to have a cry room, I guess, would be to kind of relieve the stress of the mother.
Yeah.
And, a little bit to say it's okay, Yep. But the rest of us don't care. I mean,
it's one of those convenience. It's one of those convenience things that the sense is like, shouldn't we as a church body take on a little bit more pain, a little bit more suffering, and keep this as part of our body?
Sure, as long as that's really, unless you got to really sell it to the mother and father.
But wouldn't it be more convenient?
Wouldn't
it be more convenient if they didn't have to go to church and they could just attend it via Zoom? Because the baby can't really understand what's going on anyway, because the baby's just a baby. And for the parents, they can just see the entire service over Zoom. So it'd be more convenient that way, because then they don't even have to dress up and get the baby to go to church, and it would be more, and then it's more convenient to everybody else, because then fewer pews are filled, and then people have more space. It's more convenient, right?
Right. I'm just saying, though. I think the whole idea is just trying to thread a needle, right? I mean, I get what you're saying.
No, I'm showing how the convenience of things continues to, how it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. Well, back in the day, what you did was you passed the baby around until you found a grandma who was really good at it and could get the baby to settle in, right? The baby just got handed down the pew. You just didn't have chairs, you had pews.
Yeah.
All the natures just have these, like, it's starting to look like these sofa cushion theaters practically. I mean, they're just these big fat chairs and lots of padding. And back in the day, it was just pews, and you just scooted on in. And yeah, the baby got passed around, and the mother was okay with it too. Parents these days, I mean, Everybody's anxious about the baby, you know, because they're so precious and they're fewer in number and all that. I get it. And people are uptight, and there's nothing more uptight than a mother. But back in the day, of course, mothers had more babies, and the women they passed the baby down to were very experienced. And it was always the old hand. The grandmas too were probably the very best at getting the baby to settle down. Because babies are really good at picking up on energy, you know, whatever emotional energy you're generating, they just resonate it. Yeah. And the grandmas, they're like, it's just takes them back in time. Actually, again, I don't even know if I'm addressing a phenomena that even exists anymore. It's just what I observed more to my childhood, what I grew up around. And so I don't know what I don't see. Good Lord, somebody splashed the price in my face. Please.
Could be the Holy Spirit.
Something's telling me to move. Oh, good. Anyway, I'm totally distracted. Seeing spots. But it's so yeah. I don't know what. I'm sure there's still grandmas like that out there, and I'm sure there's still families like that out there. They're just not as common as they used to be because of divorce and remarriage and blended families, and you know, everybody's anxious these days. And the old people are much more anxious than they used to be. That I can tell you too. That I know from current experience. We hit a golden age. It seemed like there's this funny little peak time when people were relaxed. Because if you read back, it wasn't 150 years ago. People were balls of anxiety 150 years ago. That's how we ended up with the wars we ended up with. And societies, as I said, there was a lot of addiction issues and domestic abuse. But there's just a funny little period. Maybe it was again that post-World War II period, that post-war period. People had it was just a funny little blip.
Well, I think there was a sense of like clear progress in a variety of ways. There's a sense of where we were going and what we were doing and who we were and who the enemy was and that sense of like a clear cut. Here's where we're going. I feel like is much less these days.
How much, once the Soviets got the bomb, how much did that reignite anxiety?
It seemed like it peaked in 63, before my birth, actually.
Cuban Missile Crisis.
Because, right. And after that, I think people could start to see that our worst nightmare really isn't going to happen. And there was new treaties. There was the Cold War. It continued, but and then of course you had Vietnam. But even with all of Vietnam, all the opportunities. The one guy who talked about using nukes in Vietnam was Goldwater, and he got absolutely destroyed at the polls. I mean, the society just rejected him completely, even though he's a really interesting, actually turned out to be a pretty solid guy. Once he let go of the politics. But people just saw it as crazy talk.
Yeah.
I think they see the same thing when whether they're fire-breathing Democrats or fire-breathing neocons who talk recklessly about challenging Russia in Ukraine or something, in a really kind of expansionist way with regard to NATO.
Yep.
I think those people are going to get rejected too, because nobody's more of a supporter of Ukraine than I am, but I'm also not for. I think if it ends up in nuclear war, we just need to consider it a failure. If you want a policy that succeeds, So that's you got to maintain a deterrent. You've got to help maintain the integrity of the international order and
not cause nuclear
incinerate.
war. Yeah,
exactly. It's yeah, and most people see that. Most people get it, and there are gambles worth taking. And sometimes the better part of valor is retreat.
Yep.
Until you find a better position that's defensible. And I was just watching. Do you guys watch the rest of or listen to the rest of Politics? So the Superettes. There's the same group as Rest is History. Who put it together, but they were on a rant about Ukraine and I mean, you know, and I'm like going, dude, because part of it is I don't know if their anxieties about Trump or whatever, but they were just they were just more or less advocating a position that would put Putin in a box and force him to do something irrational.
Yep.
And that's just bad policy making, in my opinion. So anyways, my point is that I think when you had when people saw that there was a way forward that wasn't absolutist, the anxiety diminished considerably. And then all of a sudden the miracle happened and the whole thing collapsed, right? In 89, 90.
Well, that's the thing too, is like, I think that anything that is built on lies eventually has to collapse under the weight of its own stuff. Like, the good doesn't need to actually do anything to make evil lose. It just has to not give up. At least
yes, it has to not give up and not do anything stupid. Not shoot itself.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is where this is my anxiety, I guess, about the current times. Is we can't. It was like, yeah, we just we are our own worst enemy. Like Neil was saying that. What were you saying? Talking about resources at some point. I can't remember the exact context, Neil. Are you still with us, Neil, or did you go?
No, I'm still here. Yeah.
People. It was with regard to family, baby making and resources and finding the equilibrium. Right. We've never been more resource. I know we all feel poorer, and we are in many ways, but in terms of productive capacity, we've never been richer as a society. It's just not distributed well.
No.
Resources aren't our enemy. Isn't our problem. It's just unevenly spread, and then we can't come up with a means for distribution that doesn't freak everybody out on one side or the other.
Yeah. No, it's that's a real problem. The Pareto distribution. I think something that had been working for a while is every time there's a major tech leap, it's kind of a reset, a flattening of the income and wealth distribution, meaning that if you're 40 when the internet comes out, you're not the one at the ground level getting a good job with the internet coming out. Or
right.
Same if you're 40 when the PC revolution starts, or you're 40 when World War II ends and manufacturing is starting to boom. So we have these different periods. Like we have the 40s to the 60s, and then 70s were kind of a rough time. And then the 80s were like the PC revolution and a lot of electronic stuff. And then the 90s into 2000, in the early 2000s were internet. And so you could say, like, if a generation is able to catch the wave of whatever is growing and doing well, then that generation does well. But what's the wave of what's growing and doing well? Like right now it's AI, but as I understand it, AI has been, for the absolute brilliant kids and kids, basically people at the cutting edge of AI, they're making millions. They're being, but for the most part, it's been a job. It's been a tech job bottleneck, meaning like companies aren't hiring tech jobs because they're like, well, probably not going to need them. So
yeah, about that. I don't think that AI is going to. Well, there's two options I see. Either it plateaus and it's never able to do things as well as a human can, or it takes off and it becomes sentient, at which point we have a whole host of other problems that we're going to be up against. So.
Yeah, well, what I've read or heard from the experts that are deep in it that I respect, they don't consider LLMs to be the AI they're looking for. They're all chasing after other approaches. Mm-hmm. They're all pretty. They're very confident about achieving it through AGI. But they also admit that we don't know what it's going to look like yet, right? So, or exactly how it's going to be built. Even though the LLMs are impressive, right? The LLMs are stepping stones. So if Kurzweil's right, we've got 3.5 years or so to his prediction. He's been right about a lot. We could easily just plateau on LLMs for the next 20 years, which would prove him wrong and probably kill the chance. It would probably be, if it doesn't happen quick, if it doesn't happen in 5 years, it's probably not going to happen in 100. That is real sentience. Which is going to make things really hard on us.
He always predicted 2029.
He has forever, yeah. And he's 2035 for the aging, the beginning, and then 2045 for that's his thing for the singularity. So
I'm an increasing skeptic. I'm increasingly skeptical of the transhuman claims.
Well, I don't think that's the funny thing. I don't think it's going to be what we think it is. Okay, I would agree. If you think of it as an other, that is, there's another kind of human out there, or there's another level of intelligence out there that is quote unquote artificial. I would say yes. I'm skeptical. I don't think I think what's actually it's going to look. It's going to look a lot like it's going to be us. It's just going to be it's going to be embedded in us in a thousand different ways, and that's how it's going to take shape. There's just not going to be. I don't even know if generation to be born after the generation being born now will even have an option, but it'll be like the air they breathe. It's just going to be everywhere, and that's going to be the artificial. That'll be the singularity. You just won't. You'll hardly know what's even there, and that's an optimistic point of view, I think, because that means it'll work and it'll be at a human scale. It'll be something we can adapt to. It won't be Skynet. If it is Skynet, then that's catastrophic for everybody, because what's to stop the machines from killing us all or turning the planet into paper clips or
whatever other solution they decide on.
Whatever it's just not gonna be human. But if it's very human, I think it'll look very human because it will be human. It's just going to be. It's going to be you, and then you're going to the real crises that I see is the real crises will come out of its success.
Mhm.
Because you're going to have to decide about a whole lot of things that you've never had to worry about before in terms of your future and how you live in the world and the value of life, and you're just going to be challenged in ways that you previously left certain things up to God, like when I die. And now it's going to be largely optional. If this happens,
yeah,
death will happen by accident or suicide, and the rest of it'll just be an indefinite sort of.
Well, if altered carbon is as prescient as I think it is, then you will remove the physical barrier of how long you have to live or how long you can live, and then you will come up against some other barrier, and the likely one that it kind of cites is your memory and your sanity. That eventually your body might be able to live forever, but your mind or your soul's connection to your body might start to go.
A new form of dimension.
Yeah.
You'll heal the old form and you'll get a new one.
Yep. Which that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't take into account is like when you remove one barrier, generally speaking, there's another barrier you were just unaware of because you were hitting the other one first, and then you're going to hit that one instead. So.
There's always going to be barriers, right? There are always going to be barriers, always going to be new constraints.
It's the nature of reality.
Yeah, which is a good thing. It's just the time scales will be different. But we'll solve other problems, right? I mean, like the thing that if we don't get AI, ocean warming is probably going to
I'm less convinced. I have some nuanced take as far as global warming stuff goes, but I don't think that it's nearly as much of a catastrophic likelihood as it's made out to be by a lot of other people, especially like mainstream science folks. I just there's things that make me not buy the argument. But that's a topic for another stream, I think, and I'm kind of wanting to close it down.
Wrap it up.
Yeah,
good idea.
Dog needs to get walked and fed.
I've got to get going too, but it's been a lot of fun. Thank you both.
They always kill these things, guys.
Thank
I
you,
can't
Dasher.
ever come on. I always kill it.
No, you've been on for a while, so you didn't kill it.
Yeah, and this has been going for like over 3 hours now. So.
It's about 4 hours long.
Well, good job, Ab.
Thanks.
Nice talking to you guys.
Mark.
You as well.
You too.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, have a great night.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Slasher. All right, and if anybody out there is still watching, goodbye then. Be safe, friends. And don't you dare go hollow. Take care.